primed and ready to eat them alive.
Risking head and skin, if we're behind it, never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never wink until the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
The Tigers enter on an 8-game winning streak. They haven't lost since July the 6th, but none of that matters unless they raise the cup this afternoon as we head boundary side and welcome in our dynamic duo, Lauren Arnell and Nathan Templeton. And Nate, isn't it fantastic to have the VFL Grand Final back at Princes Park?
It is brilliant. Tigers players everywhere here, the senior guys, and as we've said, we know a couple of them have been left out of this VFL team, perhaps with an eye to Saturday Loz. But we'll talk about the weather. It's been a funny old day. Dark clouds rolling in now. We're not really sure what's going to happen. Current temperature 14, expected top 16. We might get a few showers as the day wears on, but sunshine in and out, and it's pretty good conditions at the moment. The ground's looking very good. Let's take a look at this Richmond team, Loz. We've already heard McIntosh and Ross have been held out. Stack will start at quarter time. But you want to have a look at Noah Boltz's role today?
Absolutely. I think Stack starting later in the game at quarter time makes it a bit more manageable from a coaching perspective. Coming in and knowing he'll play that back end 3 quarters is helpful for Richmond. But Noah Bolter, I think he can be the real sharp spark for Richmond today. They've got an excellent team, but Bolter being that pure utility, he's an exciting player and one who I think can dominate this grand final.
And if the Williamstown team, the ruck is going to be absolutely crucial for them.
Oh, we saw Nick Meese have 70 hit-outs last week in the prelim and obviously going against Chol today, but he's got an exceptional group of mids around him. Liam Hunt, Mitch Hibbert and Adam Markov, there's some experience there, and that Williamstown midfield led by Nick Meese is going to be crucial for them today if they're able to get up.
And it is the classic part-time footballers versus the full-timers. Is going to be a fantastic match. But that Williamstown side looks very strong. It's going to be a great game.
And Williamstown have been incredibly consistent in recent times. They're always there and thereabouts. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've been preliminary finalists for 10 consecutive years, but so far just 1 premiership to show for that decade of excellence. Led by Andy Collins, a battle-hardened senior core. This their 26th top-flight grand final. Can they once more stand alone as the champions of Victorian football?
We are the boys from Williamstown who play beside the sea. All for one and one for all, we strive for victory. There's not a game that we can't win. Together we stand tall. The siren sounds, we stand our ground where seagulls burn and hold. Stand and deliver, we'll fight and not give in. We've won it bad, so every lad will push until we win. Seagulls show the courage, we rally to the call. We are the boys from Williamstown with seagulls, blue and gold. Stand and deliver, we'll fight and not give in. We've won it bad, so every lad will push until we win. Seagulls show the courage, we rally to the call. We are the boys from Williamstown with seagulls, blue and gold. We are the boys from Williamstown with seagulls, blue and gold.
Brownie, let's take a closer look at the zone matchups at each end this afternoon. We'll start with Willie's defence versus Richmond's attack. Willie ranked 3rd in defence, haven't conceded 100 points at all this season. In fact, the last time they did was 37 games ago. They're not only good at containing the opposition, they're ranked number 1 for rebound 50 rates. Jake Greiser, the man, 115 rebound 50s.
They've got a really good balance of defending when they need to and then getting on their bikes, spreading the ground and setting up some counter-attack off half-back through guys like Jake Greiser. Jack Charleston's had a terrific year and 100 VFL games for Joel Tippett as well this afternoon. Terrific effort.
Richmond's attack, it's ranked 5th at 86 points a game, and as we've seen in recent weeks, their greatest strength is their spread of goal kickers. 9 individual goal kickers in the qualifying final, 9 again in the prelim final. No Jake Arts this afternoon after he was suspended for 4 weeks. But the question for Andy Collins is who's going to get off the chain today, and who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not. They don't rely on long balls in and big key marks from their key forwards. It's a spread of goal kickers through guys like Butler, Townsend, Meniju, Paddy Naish bobs up from a wing and a half forward, They rely on their medium forwards to kick crumbing goals.
Well, it's a big week for the Richmond Football Club. They're looking to do the seniors reserves double for the first time since 1973, and their AFL captain Trent Cotchin is with Nathan Templeton.
Coach, thanks for your time. I know you're busy with dad duties here as well, but how good's the buzz around the club when you've got both teams in grand final?
Yeah, it is. Even the crowd today, it's pretty incredible. Obviously, the conditions are perfect for a day of footy, and it's just an exciting part of the year for any AFL supporter, particularly when it's your team that's both in today's game and next Saturday's.
And the other great thing about it is obviously selection. You've got a lot of depth and you've got guys playing right up till now. Sydney Stack will start at quarter time, and Ross and McIntosh pulled out of the team. It's a pretty good depth.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's what's been most impressive from my point of view is different times during the year the AFL team was challenged with injuries, and guys stood up, and that's why I'm so happy for the guys to get an opportunity to play in a grand final dream today.
Any update on Graham and Broad in terms of how they're shaping up for next week?
I saw them both yesterday. Obviously, Jack was a little bit sore, but I think the club will give him every chance to get himself right, and it's just a matter of whether he's deemed fit to play. Brody seemed in really good spirits, so again, it'll just be how the week pans out, and away we go.
Well, you're in a great position. Thanks for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Trent Cotchin. We wish him all the best for grand final week as well. Now to the other end, Richmond's defence versus Willie's attack. Tigers ranked second in defence, Brownie. They really locked down on the Borough after half-time last week. Fourth for rebound 50s. The likes of Egg, Malesi, Smith and Naish worked nicely off those key stoppers, Garthwaite and Beasley.
Their defensive structure has been superb all year. They've only lost the 2 games, and a lot of their drive does come from their defence. And the Williamstown attack, Jason, has been absolutely superb this year. It's been a bit of a makeshift forward line. They get Rodda back today, which is massive, but Joel Ottavi's been huge. Ebinger, he's kicked 8 goals in the last 2 finals, and they managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Billy Myers, who'd gone into last week's game with only 7 goals, ended up kicking 4.
Joining the conversation, chat with us all afternoon via our 7VFL Twitter and Facebook. Campbell Brown and Lauren Arnell standing by to answer your questions. And if you're heading out, you can watch the grand final for free on your phone via the 7 Plus app. The opening bounce is fast approaching. It's the 2019 VFL Grand Final. It's Richmond and Williamstown, and it's next. The 2019 VFL Grand Final. Richmond and Williamstown at Icon Park. Great to have you with us on 7 Sport and live streaming on 7 Plus, and all is in readiness for the pre-game formalities. Here's our Master of Ceremonies this afternoon, Pete Laser.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League welcome you to Icon Park for the 2019 VFL Love the Game Grand Final to be played between the Williamstown and Richmond football clubs. The AFL would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We acknowledge that we play our great game on this land, and we respect the cultures of all First Peoples. We acknowledge their contribution to our nation and their contribution to the great game of Australian rules football. Would you now please join with the players, coaches and umpires and be upstanding as we welcome Taylor Henderson, accompanied by Cam Henderson, to perform the National Anthem of Australia.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea, our land abounds in nature's bliss, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your afternoon of the football.
Healthy crowd into Icon Park. First grand final here for the VFL since 2007. And so many players to watch this afternoon. There's Andy Collins. What a record he's got as player and coach. And all eyes from Richmond's perspective after quarter time will be on Sydney Stack. His first game since August 17 as he's overcome an ankle injury. 17 AFL and 1 VFL game this season, Brownie.
It's one of the great moments there where you're just standing arm in arm, linked up with your teammates, whether it be through the final series, grand final day or Anzac Day. Pretty special hearing the national anthem, eyeballing the opposition that's about to come your way, and you're about to get into it.
Sydney Stack is 34 days off surgery to a syndesmosis, and he's about to get thrown into a VFL grand final and maybe audition for an AFL grand final.
Potentially, and what a super year that he's had. He's been unbelievable.
Connor Menadue so good last week in the preliminary final. He booted 3 goals. Will he be the X factor this afternoon? What about for Williamstown? One man who stood up massively in the finals is Nick Ebbinger. 8 goals won in 2 finals, and that man Billy Myers last week, he was a surprise packet, bobbed up and kicked 4.
Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? He hasn't played a lot of forward football, but Andy Collins said to me pre-game he was hoping to get a goal or 2 out of him, and 4 was just a massive bonus.
So there's the Seagulls. What a club they've been. The Tigers, they go hunting that silverware that's eluded them the last 2 years. Lost the grand final by kick after the siren 2 years ago. Nudge, minor premier straight sets exit last year. Looked to be in trouble in the qualifying final. Found a way, got back. Great last week. And Steve Morris 1 win away from that premiership he's chased his whole career.
In his 50th VFL game today. Their program needs a cup to show for it. It's got a little bit of Port Adelaide in the AFL in the early 2000s where they were the best team, generally speaking, in the home and away series. They made a run in 17 admittedly from a little way back, but the last 2 years absolutely they've been the best team. March to August, 32 of 38 wins in the home and away season, but now it's about the next 2 hours.
They're in such good shape as well collectively as a football club. Their AFL and VFL club haven't had a lot of injuries to deal with through September. Obviously Friday night threw a couple up, but there's 5 VFL listed players here and the 2 boys that have obviously been held over as precautions, which they would have known since Friday night, maybe Saturday morning, so it's not too big a surprise for the structure of this Richmond side.
So Stack to the bench for Richmond to begin with. It looks like they'll manage his game time, and the returnee from a Williamstown perspective, Nick Rodda trots off. And what a well-positioned stadium this is. It's going to go through some refurbishment with those views back south towards the city. There's the Richmond players who are sitting beneath us, watching on 6 days away from their tilt at a second AFL premiership.
I like the fact that if you are restricting players' game time, you do it in the first quarter, and you don't have a situation where a few years ago for Box Hill, they were trying to nurse Cyril Rioli back in, and they had to sit out the last quarter, which cost them the game.
Ready to go. There's Nick Meese. 8 players from their grand final win 4 years ago. Welcome to the 2019 VFL Grand Final. Richmond and Williamstown just 4 quarters away from dreams or dust.
Meese and Chol, and Meese got straight up over the top and then looks for body on Pickett. Hibbert fired a handball. Wheeler, he will not shirk the contest this afternoon. Kicks wide. Mundy, the 23rd man in the in, as Miller goes to ground but can gather, has the first hand pass of the game for the Tigers. Morris. Tippett down the line. He's got a huge job on Coleman Jones, and he's been colossal in the final series as that forward target for the Tigers to go with some relief ruck work. Heads towards Chol, in from the side. Big start for Masters. Wasn't able to intercept. Charleston went to ground. We've got to lock this in here, Willie. Lurking is Butler. Charleston tossed out of it. Townsend commits head first. And we feel like we're going to see a bit of this in the early stages, Brownie.
Yeah, great confidence building mark from Coleman Jones. Under fierce pressure, he leads the club in contested marks this year for that exact reason.
Chol and Meese. Meese locks up. That's the way he likes it. Hunt feeds it back to Dorgan on that left boot, but he's turned it over. Good work from Caulfield, the late in. And a deserving inclusion as well. He's been a great servant of this program, as has that man Hugh Beasley. Off to the dangerous Egg Malesi Smith. He loads up and goes long inside 50. It'll pitch in front of Coleman Jones. It'll bounce for Hunt at the back. Quick hands Tippett. He handballs it out. The Tigers look to lock it in their forward 50.
That's one thing that they're really good at, defensively setting up behind the ball. All the players know exactly where they need to stand, and if you're Williamstown, you just get a hack kick out of your defensive 50. Quite often it'll come straight back.
Meese, Townsend trying to read it. Hibbard fires the handball for Wheeler. They've connected a couple of times already, but no easy outs today. And Dan Caulfield was left out of the preliminary final team after Hugh Beasley had been left out of the qualifying final. He's got an enormous job this afternoon on Billy Myers, who was the joker in the pack last week for Williamstown. Kicked 4 to make it 8 goals for the season. Meese again works to the front. Markon, Hibbert having early possessions. Again, it's going to be one-on-ones down the line. Ebbinger couldn't take the mark. Egmalesi Smith has the keys to him today. Morris just bustles and hustles free. Townsend presents the fist from Masters. Charleston, Butler. It flicks its way around eventually to Markon. He wanted Dawkins, could only find Turner, but just turns and kicks instinctively. Markov, Donnell behind the footy in his 100th match as a Seagull sees it out. Lauren Arnell, a swirly breeze that you've played a lot of footy in here at Icon Park.
There is a little bit of a breeze here, but nothing too bad, Nudge. I'm just looking at Richmond's aggressive defensive structure. At the moment, they've got Miller and Garthwaite setting up behind, and Egmalesi Smith we've seen get a couple of touches moving the ball forward again.
Meese spirals it out of the ruck contest, out of bounds on the full, and we saw in the VFLW Grand Final, Collingwood victorious. All the scoring was to the left of screen, pretty much.
That's what we saw Nick Meese do so well last week. Use his body, take the ball out of the ruck. He had 17 clearances.
Hibbert stands underneath that. Fraser Turner kick takes the mark. Willie looked to switch and go to the city side. Thorpe has got a couple of metres on Bolter. Goes short and finds Nick Singh, one of their 8 premiership players from 2015, hunting a second medal this afternoon. Singh's kick didn't quite hit Hibbert, put him under a little bit of pressure. He did well. Ebbinger couldn't take it. Tigers have got some numbers. Moore did well, but he gave it up to Greiser. Greiser's handball knocked down by Kel Moore. Opens a door for Butler. Looks to accelerate away from Mundy. Had to release. Quick kick was smothered off Bolter's boot. Pitches inside 50. Wheeler tracks it back. Got an awkward bounce. Well done, Menadue, but he spun straight into Tippett. And we'll go no further.
And it looks like Williamstown are parking the bus, so to speak, Brownie. Jalen Thorpe behind the ball. Sam Donnell behind the ball. We know them more as forwards.
Very early in the game to be dropping some numbers back, but Andy Collins, he just won't want Richmond to get off to a really good start.
Markon can't get free. Of course, won the Ganane medal as their VFL best and fairest in his season on Richmond's AFL list. 2 games. Returned to the Seagulls, and today trying to lead them to a premiership. Meese and Chol engage again. And umpire Paul Rebashini spotted it through the contest, and Marlon Pickett, the mid-season rookie draft selection, another one potentially in the frame for an AFL Grand Final, AFL debut, playing just his 6th VFL game today, and you can see right there, there's plenty of chicken wing action there from Adam Markon. Marlon Pickett effectively kept them in the game in the qualifying final. He kicked 2 goals, had 22 possessions, but broke the game open a couple of times. You sense he's got a thing for the big stage. That's a case in point. Tigers with the first of the grand final.
Sliding doors. Marlon Pickett, if he was still at South Freo, would be lining up in a waffle grand final this afternoon, Brownie.
What a moment. And if he can put a really good 4-quarter effort together today, who knows? He might just get that fairy tale debut call up in an AFL grand final as well.
Tigers drive first, about the first 5 inside 50s of the game, dominating territory. Meese can't break free. Here's Weller. Punches a handball forward, taken by Greiser. Quick hands to Wheeler. Some pressure from behind came from Pickett. Kick towards half forward. Garthwaite went to ground, couldn't quite claim it. Wheeler. Ebbinger's got to be quick. Looks for an option inside 50. The pressure forced the turnover. And Steve Morris, the Tigers skipper, picks it off. Looking for a lateral option. We'll take a bit of territory down the line through the hands of Masters. Gives it off to Meese. Quick hands. Ebbinger run down from behind by Townsend. It'll spill for Naish. He fashions a kick towards the wing. Bouncing football attack by Singh. Raked in there by Menadue. Bolter. Charleston still alive. English goes at it. Can't keep it alive. Let's head boundary side, Nathan. Early injury concern for the Tigers?
Yeah, Derek Egmalesi-Smith is getting his left hand worked on by the doctor. It's got a cut on it, so they've bandaged that to stop the blood. But he was also getting the joints checked out, but he does seem to be okay. We think he'll be able to come back on soon.
Nathan Templeton, boundary side, as Hibbert goes back to Markon. Here's Mellington. He goes towards Ebbinger, who's become such an important player, Brownie. And the old saying from Alan Jeans, crisis creates opportunity. They lose Nick Rodda, their leading goal kicker, have to fashion a new forward line. Ebbinger stands up and kicks 8 in 2 finals.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable, hasn't he? 3 in the qualifying final when they beat Footscray, and then bobbed up last week and kicked 5. Walked past Andy Collins in the room pre-game and said, Colo, I love the big stage, and you'd have to agree with him.
English gets out the back of Donnell, and Masters will see it to the line. Luke English in his first season on the Tigers list, yet to play in a loss in the VFL. 11-0 coming in.
He's the difference.
You'd be thinking, how easy is this? It's not always the case, though, so enjoy it while it lasts.
There needs to be a cap on the use of that phrase in conjunction with any player who seems to play in only wins. English grabs it. Wheeler, Pickess, and Pickett will nearly mow him down. There's a lot of neat ball movement about Williamstown at the moment. They've had just a couple of marks, Rodda v Beasley, and they can see to the line. Rodda wants out on the full, won't get it. Hurt his ankle in the Saturday night fixture, the final round of the season against Werribee. He's been touch and go. He's been named every week through the finals. Hasn't got to the line.
I didn't think we'd see him out here this afternoon, and apparently he was almost right to play last week, and he's got up this afternoon, and he's going to play a huge part for the forward structure of Williamstown.
Mason Coleman-Jones is English on the bottom of that pack with Meese on top of him, so he's going nowhere.
He started where he left off last week.
Top two contested possession teams here, and it's going to be so critical for Williamstown to do well around the stoppages, because if the Tigers bust into space, they might be a little bit more potent on the outside.
And certainly Williamstown probably aren't used to playing on an oval with this sort of space. The last week they were at Port Melbourne, which is quite small. Their oval at Point Gellibrand, Williamstown. It's obviously very windy.
High contact, Williamstown.
English over the shoulder of Wheeler. And that's what the Seagulls are going to need to do. Make it scrappy on the inside. So even if Richmond win the football, it's not a clean takeaway.
9 clearances to 2 already in this first quarter, Williamstown's way.
That's what needs to happen for the Seagulls. Off hands, Myers took the contact. Tried to get it to Markon. He's immediately swamped. Noah Bolter in over the top of Adam Markon, the skipper this afternoon. There's Sydney Stack waiting to get into the game.
Chafing at the bit. He'd be hating sitting there having to watch the first quarter.
And come on, after quarter time for his first run since August 17 after that ankle surgery.
Doing some run-throughs, trying to stay warm. It's always hard. You warm up with the group, then you sit down. He might even need to do a little bit more at quarter time.
Jack Ross and Camden McIntosh pulled out of this game to hold them over for potential AFL Grand Final appearances. Bolter, penetrating kick towards Markon. Well done by Donnell over the top. What a battle that'll be if they spend time on each other today. Markov receives the handball. He's got speed. He can run away. Charleston looks to try and run him down. Penetrating kick inside 50. Moore's the target. Thorpe back at the moment, and they get it to the line.
Brownie, that's the ball Williamstown have to force out. If Richmond are allowed to keep it alive today, they're gone.
It's the first time in the first 10 minutes that a player's got out into time and space, and once Markov does with his leg speed, no one's going to catch him.
Saw Nick Singh on screen, one of 8 players backing up from Williamstown's 2015 Premiership team in the team today. Bolter can grab it from the ruck and snap. It'll work its way across the face, and Tippett is gone.
Clear out.
Callum Coleman-Jones almost lulled him into a false insecurity. He's going to let him paddle it over the line.
That's where players have become a little bit better at the deliberate juggle or fumble of the ball. On that occasion, Tippett just didn't disguise it well enough, just tapped it straight over the line.
10-17 for the year for the big South Australian. He won't add a major here. It's sent across the face by Fist. Ballard was also one of the late-ins as a result of those Friday night AFL injuries. He was caught between a rock and a hard place. He only played 1 game for Blackburn this year, so didn't qualify to play in their Eastern Footy League Grand Final yesterday. Finds himself on a bigger stage.
First VFL game since round 19 as the ball comes back in towards Bolter. He's wrapped up. Willie captain Adam Markon joins us on the headset. Adam, thanks very much for the access on Grand Final day. What have you made of the opening 11 and a half minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty hot in the kitchen out there, Jace. Plenty of pressure both ways. Just a free kick goal separating us so far.
You're leading the clearances already, Adam, 9-4. That's going to be an area that you're going to have to produce a 4-quarter effort in.
Yeah, we know that they're pretty good on the outside, so we're going to be trying to get on top on the inside, I guess.
Anything different from previous weeks in terms of structure or game plan?
Oh, not really. I think at this time of year you want to just keep doing what's got you there. So, yeah, it's more about our spirit, I think.
And 8 players from the 2015 Grand Final Premiership win. That must help the team, just having that level of experience.
Yeah, I definitely think it does. It helps when you've been here before, so hopefully we can replicate that day.
Best of luck this afternoon. We'll let you get back into the action.
Thanks, Jace.
Adam Markon joining us. What wonderful access on grand final day as Thorpe's hammered in a tackle. Donnell in over the top. Coming through was Pongrazic. Tries to bundle through. Was that a flip or a throw? Came out to Thorpe either way. And will he do well to get it to Wheeler as Mitch Hibbert comes limping off.
Not a good sign. Team of the year midfielder. Chance now for Tippett to redeem. Slices the kick wide on the left. Weller in hot pursuit of Singh, who can gather. Tries to turn him, work his way through. Hamble on a run for Dorgan, who's on his favoured left, but run down by Street. First real overlap here for the Seagulls, but Rodda's kick was just a toss forward. Garthwaite pushed in the back by Pickess.
It's just a small thing, but Mav Weller didn't overcommit. He just corralled him towards the boundary, which forced Williamstown boundary side.
Mitch Hibbert heading straight to the rooms. We did see him hurt his knee in our VFL coverage a couple of years ago when a North Melbourne player, as the Tigers work this forward. And Markov's out the back. If this Sharon can stay in for him, won't. Mitch Hibbert has turned on tail here and is actually walking back towards the Williamstown bench, but he looks proppy. Let's have a look at the incident here.
Richmond, 2, Bolter. Hold that meter, Noah.
Perhaps trapped awkwardly in the tackle on English.
You just see the grimace at the end there as body weight of other players comes across his leg. English, Butler, nice fend off, gets away from Wheeler. Second effort from Myers, prevented the kick being overly effective. Quick kick out from Monk and a lovely mark taken by Collier-Dawkins. Wants to get it and go. They line up laterally. This is Ballard. Draws a man, Dorgan. Pops it to Caulfield. He can line up from 49 metres. Dan Caulfield misses left.
Really good ball movement though. Collier-Dawkins positioned himself beautifully as the spare man. Immediately looked inboard to where the space and the numbers were. They got some overlap, handball run and carry, and Caulfield couldn't quite finish, but very hard to defend that.
Two ways of looking at this. Inside 50s, 10-2 Richmond. They've dominated early, but they've only put 1-1 on the board.
See that ball start to drop vertical as it loses a bit of its velocity and momentum, which gives Collier-Dawkins an opportunity. It's a touch ball. Moore and Thorpe, couple of athletes. Moore might win the day. Inboard for Townsend, who lost his footing. Chance for Coleman Jones. No purchase on the kick. Singh under siege to Monk, to Mellington. Wants Wheeler and can find him through Turner. Wheeler assesses the options. Dorgan has to pop it wide back for Wheeler, who punches it forward. Inboard goes Mundy, and he was dealt with. And Townsend backed up the dose on Dorgan. Welcome to the grand final for Jake Dorgan.
Downfield against you, Stephen, 11.
So free kick Seagulls, a chance for a breather. We're halfway through the opening term of what's been a pulsating VFL grand final.
Jack Dorgan, 4 ACLs. What a story it would be if he could become a premiership player. It's been a horrible run for him, and all that hard work, all those years of rehab, Brownie, for days like today.
Absolutely. It's great resilience, isn't it? There's days that I'm sure he would have wanted to give the game away, but ultimately keeps coming back time and time again for days like this.
Ottavi out of the ruck to Markon. Couldn't get an effective handball. It was great work from Collier-Dawkins.
The tackle pressure already from Richmond has been absolutely superb. They're just coming at Williamstown in waves.
Collier-Dawkins, young, big-bodied midfielder. Away he runs. Low trajectory kick to 50 off the hands of Ottavi. Thorpe playing back this afternoon. Hunt went to the voice of Jalen Thorpe. Mundy tight along the line.
Williamstown defence really holding up. It's 12 inside 50s now to 2. But every time the ball gets to ground, it's Williamstown defenders mopping it up.
Kennedy towards the wing. Caulfield went up and forced a contest against Markon. Igmalesi Smith's back into the game. Brilliant step. Gets a shepherd from Weller. Left foot bomb inside 50. It's a 3-on-1 in the contest at ground level. Markov goes hunting it. Steps through the Dorgan tackle. Monk gets him. Wonderful tackle, Braden Monk.
On the ball.
That's a big stop for the 70-kilo ringing wet Braden Monk to lay it around the athlete, Oleg Markov. Lauren Arnell, the play's been living on the city side, which means a number of key Seagulls haven't been able to get on.
Yeah, Nick Meese was standing here for quite a while, Nudge, and just having the ball come a little bit more central, they're able to generate a couple more rotations. But certainly where the ball's sitting now and the width of this ground, it's really hard to keep the rotations that you set.
Gulls can't lock it in, so now it's Richmond on transition. Beasley's kick hangs. Meese on the scene. Puts his big frame in the way, but lost his footing. Pickett, our sole goal kicker so far, he's just a cool customer. Inboard for Collier-Dawkins, who's racking them up here. This will be his 5th touch of the game. Willie Wheeler has a game-high 7.
Push.
A free kick will go the way of Steve Morris as the skippers tangle.
Move away.
Dan Caulfield in to let Markov know all about it.
Player.
Morris. Wide for Turner, who will patrol the wing.
You.
Just happy to chip high and try and let Chol get a run at it. The Seagulls might impact each other. Ottavi.
That's not the ball movement that Craig McRae or the Richmond forward coaches would like. They're just being very predictable at the moment, going inside forward 50.
Ottavi off to Monk, who thought about the long ball down the line and then realised the other side of the ground was going to open up. So he hung onto the football, gave it to Donnell, who's got an option in Pickess.
This is the one, though. Pickess has got no one to kick to down the line. The whole Richmond defence is just folded across.
Needed the double switch. He didn't do it. Well done by Butler. He was trying to switch it.
Oh, that is magnificent.
Butler read it beautifully. And then great delivery to Coleman Jones. Pickess had the right idea. He was going to bring it inboard. Butler read it nicely.
He had to bring it inboard because there was no one to kick to, and that's what Richmond do. It looks like a bad decision from Pickess, but it was the only one. Richmond almost lull you into a false sense of security to take that kick. They turn it over and then get all that space out the back. This man is already looking ominous.
It's the part of his game he's been working on. He's kicked 10-17 this season. That one close. It's 10-18 for Callum Coleman-Jones, who is a really exciting prospect. If you're a Tigers fan and you haven't seen much of him, he's another exciting young big coming through this Richmond program.
20 years of age and had a taste of AFL early in the year against Essendon as Myers, another man pushed behind the ball. Kick to Hibbert, who's returned. Rodda can feed off Marlion, who's got Townsend for company. Strips him, and they'll keep it in motion. Street, the 23rd man for the Tigers. Chol flies in, Thorpe flies high. Weller wants to buy Butler some time. Coleman-Jones, tackled by Charleston. Pickett just tries to wrestle his way free, and again it's Monk doing the work. He's injured there as well. Butler, Street held his width, can get good purchase on that footy, but Tippett's back to take the fair catch for the goal.
There's only two people I wouldn't want to be blindsided by. Jacob Townsend's one, the other's Chuck Norris.
He's ebbing up at defensive 50. He goes short to Mundy. And Nath, we see Mitch Hibbert back out there.
Yeah, it looked like a slight tweak to the left knee, and he was able to sort of walk it off about 5 minutes on the bench, but he is back out there.
Turnover here, chance for the Tigers. Mav Weller holds it up. Williamstown get numbers back to try and fill the hole. He's called to go, steps around Ebbinger. Touched off his boot by Markon. It'll sit there for Hibbert. Hunt, Charleston, Meese, and now Mundy. Williamstown with plenty of handball into the breeze in the opening term as Garthwaite comes across. Handballs 35-17.
Another turnover trying to come back into the corridor. It's almost like the instruction is to bring it in there. Yes, great. But only if it's there. Don't try and force it or manufacture it if the kick isn't quite there, because Richmond are just turning over that ball time and time again.
Meese, Hunt, here's Pickett. Wobbly kick will go out of bounds on the full. Loz.
Oh, it's just incredible from ground level watching the way that Richmond structure up. It's the blueprint that the AFL team use. It's almost like a diamond shape. Garthwaite's at the deepest defensively, and he's just marshalling the troops. The players on the side, sort of Egg Malessi Smith and Steve Morris, their captain, just making the rest of it work. Williamstown don't look likely to score.
So Myers gets it to Thorpe. He now looks for the next option, which is Myers, who runs on, but that misses the target. He's got some support. Mundy can flip a handball, and this time they do get it through the zone. Charleston, Pickett has got not much to go to. Ran straight into a tackle by Garthwaite, who stops him dead in his tracks. So, Loz, what's the answer for Williamstown? How do they get through that structure?
Oh, it's very reliant on their midfield ball use and obviously their forward line presence. It just doesn't feel like they've got anything to kick to because this backline depth is so strong.
Menadue punches it deep. Weller and Greiser are connected. Greiser got a fist to it. Tippett must make this ball. English to ground. Coleman-Jones cannot work his way through Tippett.
So if you're watching on TV, you see Pickess try and get around him, create too much. That's not his fault because, again, he looked up. There was no one to kick to, so he had no other option but to try and take the game on. I don't mind that. Be bold, be aggressive.
Meese with a double-hander to Hibbert, but again, they can't clear the area. Ebbinger made all the contest there. Just couldn't finish off a miraculous mark. Miller, Egg Malessi Smith. He's got a boot on him. He could nearly go the whole way here. Just pushes it on the 45. Ballard gets involved. Seagulls fumbling with it. Masters, a handball mostly in hope. Pickett's got 3 to beat and can't win the day on Myers, and Donnell sees
this is a procession. 19 inside 50s to 2 now. Williamstown simply can't get the ball out of their back half.
It's 17 minutes without a goal here for the Tigers since Marlion Pickett kicked the only major of the game.
This is a domination that, quite frankly, we haven't seen for quite a while, numbers-wise.
Meese's tap picked off by Pickett. Markon had it momentarily. Ballard feeds it to Menadue. It was touched off his boot. Donnell attacked it, left it behind. Weller grabs it and hits the post. Tigers circling, looking to land blows, and given the territory, the Seagulls have done a magnificent job to only concede 1-3. It's been all Richmond. We saw this in the VFLW Grand Final earlier. Teams just trying to hang on when they go to the right of screen. Long ball in, maybe a chance for the counter. Oh, that hurts. Williamstown were out over the back. It was a chance to get one against the flow because it was a wide open front half of the ground for them, but Townsend can go short and find Menadue.
Free kicks 9-3 Tigers. Menadue chips for the athletic Bolter. 2 bites, no. Monk tackled by English, and they are just absorbing the blast furnace pressure here. Williamstown still 5 or 6 really crucial minutes.
Eventually, though, the damn wall has to burst at some stage if you continue to put yourself under so much pressure.
Hibbert to mark on. Masters. Smart. Excellent evasive work around Coleman Jones. Rodda's going to have 3 to beat here. Just sat under it and copped the contact.
That's going to be Nick Rodda's job this afternoon. Not necessarily get out into space and take the marks, but just create contest after contest, bring the ball to ground.
Andy Collins coaching from the bench has his way. He's 6th year in charge of the Seagulls, looking for a second premiership with them. Of course, 1-1 with Sandringham back in 97. Virtually a throw there as Hibbert pushed it to the advantage of Mellington. Wheeler with not a lot of space or margin for error.
So do they push their players back and go one-on-one?
I'd even the numbers up, yeah, I would, just because, as you can see on that occasion, got to try and manufacture a short kick because you look up from a stoppage under pressure and all you see are yellow and black jumpers.
Thorpe from behind, Pickett at the front, couldn't quite complete the mark. Masters scraps at ground level through the legs of Thorpe. Pickett pounces upon him and then feeds it out. Townsend tries to get away from Hunt. Quick hands English. Finds Menadue. He's going to run into trouble. Did well. Stepped around Ebbinger. Not 15. Here's Ballard, 52 metres. Sells the candy and goes long and kicks the goal.
Small moments, big consequences here. Ebbinger just can't stick the tackle and the umpire calls play on. Overcommit from Sam Donnell. A couple of experienced footballers. Opens the door and that's the damn wall nudge we were talking about. Fantastic finish from Jacob Ballard.
And a luxury for Craig McRae to bring a player like him into the side.
Block, Richmond's straight arm.
Nick Naish with a kidding me call, and Chol can just meander away and have a look over his shoulder, put it into attack for Bolter. Where are the Crummers? They're in yellow. Butler, floating ball across the face. So Richmond have got 2-4 to show for 22 inside 50s to 2. You feel like they haven't landed sufficient blows for the supply.
No, it's amazing that Williamstown are only down by 16 points, such as the domination in territory been.
Greiser, leading rebound 50 player in the competition, has got a leg on him. That's going to drop again. Child got one around the ears from Myers.
On the full, please, yes. Yep. Mark's here, Nick. Mark's there.
Marbiel Chol tasked with forward line ruck duties today. He's got options. You can see the top of screen there. He finally heads in that direction now. It's Naish. He had an eternity to wait there. Hunt claims a finger on it. Naish awarded the mark and well and truly in his range.
Hunt got himself in a really good position, got across there, didn't affect the spoil or take the mark, and look, it probably was touched, but let's have a look at this. Yeah, it certainly would have touched his fingers, but you'd pay that as an umpire. And Naish, who's a beautiful finisher.
Dad Chris played in Richmond's last reserves premiership, 1997, against the Hawks on the MCG. 2 last week for Naish. He is a finisher.
Liam Hunt will be bitterly disappointed. He just ran under that footy and hung in the air for a while. Umpires paid the mark, and once Paddy Naish has a set shot, he doesn't miss too often. I can't remember a solitary quarter that has been so dominated this whole year by one particular side. 23 inside 50s. And Andy Collins can't wait for this quarter-time siren to sound.
Brownie, are they doing the right thing? Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you push your numbers back and you've no chance of getting it forward to the centre, surely you're just sort of conceding that you're not going to be able to score.
Well, it's putting everyone in a defensive mindset right from the get-go, and at the moment you could argue that it hasn't worked. 22-point margin. Williamstown haven't looked like scoring.
Monk. Turner gives it up. Here's a chance. The real chances have got to be winning it from the congestion and getting it away, but Dawkins' kick is taken by Egmalesi-Smith. Menadu's called to go, took a step over the mark and scissors a kick to Townsend.
And now what's happening is Richmond players have got their confidence up. They're starting to spit forward a little bit earlier than they were at the 10-minute mark, and that's creating all this space for guys like Naish and Townsend.
And they know that Willie aren't going to score the other way, so he can start to take liberties.
Roll the dice a little bit, and it seems to be working for him.
So Jacob Townsend has kicked 19-14 for the season. He's had another great year in the VFL. Been in their best players for 14 of the 17 games he's played. Just the one AFL game this season. And this to really hammer home Richmond's opening quarter advantage. It starts left. Look at the bend on that.
Jacob Townsend, he knows how to kick big goals in finals. 2017, from round 22 to the grand final, Jace, he had 32 kicks only. Not a lot, but he kicked 16 goals too. It's one of the most efficient performances in the history of the game. He's had another terrific season at VFL level, and he's tough. He's a good mark above his head, and he's a beautiful finisher. He's a very good footballer.
Inside 50s now 24-2. Contested possessions 42-35 in favour of the Tigers. That's Williamstown's strength, and at the moment Richmond are taking it away from them.
And they've let the genie out of the bottle late here. They absorbed all that pressure, and Richmond have kicked 3 in 5 minutes to now capitalise on their dominance in the quarter. Naish for Markov, flicking a boot at it. Pickett, a back heel. Butler didn't see Mellington coming and gone. That was an important stop there for the Seagulls, because Richmond were nearly off to the races again, and they beat the bell. But it's all the Tigers, the minor premiers, dominant in the opening quarter. 4-4 off the back of 24 inside 50s to 2.
Impressive start as the two teams just get into a little bit of push and shove at quarter time. Paddy Naish letting Tom Mundy know all about it. Billy Myers and Egmalesi-Smith in there as well. Marlon Pickett with some words to say. Nick Mellington looks to separate the group. Steve Morris, what a surprise, and he might be involved. Their inspirational captain, but it's all Richmond at quarter time. Willie on the back foot. It's Tigers 4-4-28. Williamstown yet to score. Quarter time. Super opening term from the minor premiers. Richmond 4-4 to Williamstown, no score. This after quarter time siren. Noah Bolter and Joel Tippett started the festivities. They went at it inside the forward 50. Jacob Townsend came in. Billy Myers and Egmalesi-Smith. Nick Mellington, and then Noah Bolter did the Dermot Brereton go through the huddle.
Not quite the same.
Not quite the same, but of the same ilk. Here's Craig McRae, the Richmond coach, with Nathan Templeton.
When you're into it.
Well, I didn't realise it was so windy. It's we actually did enjoy playing in the wind. No, they had a couple behind the ball, which suited us to get the re-entry. So ideally we get some more territory, and then you don't have to play that part of the game.
And Sydney Stack's got the green light from now. What role will he play? Will he come straight on?
Yeah, he's on. He'll be playing the forward line. So look forward to seeing what he can do.
Good start, well done.
Lauren, I know you're in the Williamstown huddle. They were outthought in the opening term.
They were. They identified they lost the stoppage. So Andy Collins asking them to bring the contest a bit more this quarter. Midfield coach talking to them about needing the forwards to lead up and just being a little bit more patient with their ball use going forward.
Clearance is 14-8 Williamstown in the opening term, but they need to get some clean ball away from the stoppages as we start the second term. They trail by 28 points. Weller wins the first clearance, feeds it forward. Butler, Townsend. Oh, this would be a knee buckler. Menadu, 30 out. Hits the post.
The other thing that Williamstown did too much in the first quarter was handball. Their kick-to-handball ratio was out of kilter. 42 kicks, 46 handball. They kept inviting the Richmond pressure because they couldn't get any composed possession.
Dorgan with a bit of breeze. Myers rushes towards it. Pickett gives it off to Ballard. Spaces the kick for Markov. Perfect. Right to his advantage.
So in 41 seconds, Richmond have had as many inside 50s as Willie did for the whole first term to that end.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, last week against Essendon, 58 inside 50s. For the whole game, they only conceded already. And we're 1 minute in, it's been 46.
Markov to the top of the square. More
26.
to get a fly at it. Got hands to it. Couldn't finish it off.
Holding Williamstown, 7.
Big
17.
let off. Jack Charleston, Team of the Year defender.
Play on.
It's the free kick in front of the Williamstown supporters who are watching this nervous start to the second. Mundy, handball over the top of Naish. Greiser can steady, pull the trigger on the right and give it back. Caulfield. And again, Richmond's defenders just left to guard grass and chop it off at will. Beasley receives from Garthwaite. Kick wide. Now they're going to spread them. Ballard has an option inboard if he wants it in street, but going to gaze down the line.
So the Tigers just controlling the game from half back, and here's Sydney Stack.
The Tigers' faithful Raw. His first touch in 5 weeks.
Since August 17, his last game, had ankle surgery as Coleman Jones goes inside 50. Moore goes up and marks. Well, this is getting dire for Williamstown. They need to do something to change the momentum of this game. Structurally, they're getting their pants pulled down,
Well,
Brownie.
he just got some separation on Jalen Thorpe, who's been a forward all year long. He's gone back this afternoon to play on Moore. He's a very gifted footballer. Great to see him back from his ankle injury, and he's been contributing over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
He missed 13 weeks, came back round 19. Kick on its ways across the face. It's still alive. Dangerous spot. Here is Stack on the burst, but he's stacked into Nick Meese.
Well, pretty good effort there from the big ruckman to be cast in the role of a rover when the ball hit the deck on that occasion. Didn't slip up over the neck. Good defensive tackle from the big man.
Meese, it's fumbled towards the line. That's where Williamstown wanted it. They get the ball back and a breath. 10 scoring shots to nothing. What can the Seagulls do to get themselves some sort of momentum in this game? Dorgan again launches, but he'll give it straight back again. Well marks. And he's got a clutch of options. Slides it to Ballard. Fist from Wheeler might stop things momentarily. Ballard to Beasley. Instinctive kick forward. Stack versus Masters. Well done, Masters. Got the fist in. Singh can gather, but he's stripped. Sydney Stack with the banana. Didn't get the full purchase on it. And again, it sneaks through from behind. A man who's only played 2 quarters and change in the VFL. Injured his ankle back in that match late in the season at Windy Hill against Essendon.
This is a Williamstown side that all year long have been so professional and mature with the way they've gone about. They look completely overawed at the moment with their ball movement.
Greiser to Masters, to Markon rather. They need a spark.
Just need some time in possession. Get some confidence amongst their players and their ball movement.
This is Charleston. Can they start to string together some chains of possession? Because as you quite rightly point out, Brownie, they haven't been able to control the football for more than 2 or 3 touches in a row. Charleston looks inboard. Dorgan, dangerous kick, but it was nicely weighted. Markov arrived, but couldn't prevent the mark. So now Dorgan looks up. Can he switch? Again, he pokes it into a little hole in the Richmond zone. It was a nice kick to Singh. He's called to go. He's going to kick it towards Hibbert, who's got to fly against Beasley. Did really well. Pickess handballs to space and will receive a free kick for being held.
He was lucky. It was smart play because again, I'm feeling sorry for Josh Pickess. Every time he gets the ball, he's got no one to kick to. He's got no numbers around him.
That was interesting. Really interesting. They called play on, but it was almost like he blew the whistle to stop them. So they stopped, and then he called play on. That really felt like the umpire needed to stop, reset, and give them another kick there.
I didn't think Josh Pickess got back over his mark there when he gave the handball.
He stops. He blows the whistle after the handball left. That was the umpire's fault. That should have come back.
The effort of Steve Morrisseau was supreme.
Stuff you train in February to execute in September. Might have orange boots on, but it's a very blue collar. As Masters can intercept another player. Crucial to the fabrication of Willie's defence. And this is a little let-off here for the Seagulls. Too many players in the protected area for the Tigers.
Interesting nudge, because there was no one on the mark, and at the last moment, Coleman Jones realised it, so he said, I'll come across and man the mark, but he came from the wrong side.
You've got to work your way around the rectangle to get there. So Lee Masters has been an intercept defender this season, but he has 76 VFL goals in his 155 games, but just 2 behinds this year. The Seagulls veteran simply must kick this. Opportunity knocks, Masters answers.
It's one of those positions as a player, really, really hard, because you want to do the right thing for the team and man the mark, but he wasn't in the right position to start with. So a let off, and Williamstown finally hit the scoreboard through a little bit of luck. And the one thing you know about Willie, they won't go away.
Naish against Chol. Chol jumps over the top. Markov runs onto it. A clearance for Williamstown. They get the ball moving forward. Pickess marks at 55. Can the Seagulls build some momentum here? Pickess has been industrious. He runs to 55. Goes towards the square. Ottavi off hands. Garthwaite does enough to get it to the line.
He needed to move that ball much quicker. Ottavi and Rodda, on rare occasions, had equal numbers. They were 2-on-2 out of the goal square and just held on to it for 5 or 6 seconds, which allowed Richmond players to flood back.
Smith gains 25 metres and kicks it to the wing. Masters will come from the side. Couldn't quite complete it. It'll spill to the back. Was Markov taken high? Umpire said no.
Umpires this afternoon, Paul Rebashini in his second grand final, Martin Roger in his first, and also Michael Pell. So finally a little bit of territory going the way of the team from Point Jellybrand as Turner tried to handball through Wheeler. Menadue couldn't gather. Naish could. Slap forward mark on. Egmalesi Smith double grabs, can gather. Shimmy step and torpedo forward. Thorpe playing in front. Moore stayed down, gathers. He's going to have Masters for company. Tosses it to Butler. Might have the speed to get free of Mellington. Handballs instinctively for space. Moore. Mellington must stay involved here. That's a really good effort from the former VFL Tiger.
Report strike.
Wow.
Thanks, lads. It's a report for striking. Clear out.
And that's Dan
Clear
Butler,
out.
who says,
I
didn't hit him.
Go through. Yep.
On the receiving end this week, Nick Mellington.
So there's a story. Let's have a look. You did hit him.
And the rules have been savage on that at VFL and AFL level this year.
So Dan Butler, who's potentially in the frame for an AFL Grand Final appearance next week, goes in the book.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Nick Mellington gets under his skin.
He would have had a nervous 24-hour wait last week. Went in the book for striking, something similar, but just got a little bit higher on McKenna, which we spoke about off the top. Got cleared. And on this occasion, Dan Butler is the man on report.
Mellington squares it to the top of the defensive goal square and finds Monk, who's got some space to run. Looks up. He's got Pongrazic long to the wing. Heads in that direction. That's a really nice kick.
That's the best way to force the Richmond defenders to defend on leads like that.
Pongrazic will come inboard. Stack at the front. They tried to get it back into the corridor. The Tigers blocked it. He's called to go. He didn't realise it. But he's fleet of foot and manages to shake Hibbert and deliver to Turner just forward of the wing on the City side.
Fraser Turner has that in front of him. First-year Tiger from Tasmania. Masters has a free fly again. He's just using teammates as a launching pad.
6 marks last week, 5 of them contested, a lot of them like that. He's got superior aerial skills.
See if he's got the foot skills to match wide for Liam Hunt. There's a clutch of players in this team, Liam Hunt amongst them, who toiled at other clubs without much success and get an opportunity now to VFL Premiership with the Seagulls as Donnell marks. His 100th match for Willie. He's got options wide but wants to go corridor. It's hung in the breeze, but Hibbert can mark. He looks like he's recovered from that knee wrench a little bit earlier on. Kick off the line. Thorpe will mark. And Monk peeling off can come corridor. Chips shows too much of it. That's the one they can't do. English reads best.
I think they've got to throw him forward. He just at the moment, he's not playing like a defender. His ball use hasn't been great.
So Marlion Pickett has it in the wing. Launches it towards the 50. Chol looks to set himself. 3 Seagulls bumped into each other. Thorpe runs into Chol, is taken down. Umpire calls for it. So more patient in their ball movement, Brownie. Not just blasting Williamstown, but to pick your way through the zone, you've got to hit the target.
Yeah, you certainly do. And while their execution hasn't been great, I think that the idea is right. Force Richmond defenders to actually defend.
Ottavi tackled Coleman Jones, not realising that he'd actually released the football. He saw that Coleman Jones was taking it out of the ruck.
I love this new rule about ruckman being able to take it out of the air and not be paid holding the ball anymore. It's just, it's given the ruckman far greater impact around the stoppages.
Unfortunately for Ottavi, his tackle on Coleman Jones actually knocked the ball free. He didn't realise it, continued with the tackle. Coleman Jones can now make him pay. From 48 metres. Looks good off the boot. It's working left and it'll just miss.
Had a few opportunities to hit the scoreboard so far this afternoon and hasn't been able to.
So margin at 25. It was 28 at quarter time after the Tigers kicked 4-4 unanswered in the opening quarter. Dawkins short for Thorpe, but again, he's not necessarily the man they want trying to move the chains here for them. He'll be forced to kick to a contest here. Turner in the front. Fist from the back from Singh. Won by Mundy. Handball ricochets its way out. Tom Mundy, 23rd man, came in for Max Philpott. Missed out on playing in a grand final in the Western Region Football League yesterday for Altona, who are overrun by Deer Park, who won their 7th straight Western Region Footy League title.
That's an era of dominance, 7 straight. Wow.
Meese body on body with Bolter. Couldn't find Mark on. Pickett given some space, can share it with Collier-Dawkins. It was a throw.
Throw Williamstown.
So another little let off for the Seagulls. Marlon Pickett kicked the opening goal of the afternoon. Can't expand things for the Tigers.
So Williamstown have stabilised the situation. The next step is to start putting it on the scoreboard. Mark on. Down the line. Kennedy almost. Morris did just enough.
He always stays in the contest, doesn't he? Just when you think he's not there, that last fingernail, the last spoil. A lot of players would have
in the back of the head.
A lot of players would have conceded that that was just going to be a chest mark, but not Steve Morris, not on his watch.
Mundy couldn't take it cleanly. Townsend looks to work it out from under the pack. Monk goes to the voice of Mellington. Tries to fend Collier-Dawkins. Looks inside. Dorgan left it. Monk ran into trouble in the form of Butler.
My ball. Hey. Settle down. It's all right. He's okay. Wait, let it go. Let it go.
Mark on. And Jacob Townsend are the two going at it. And the umpire, sure enough, was keeping an eye on those two.
It's good umpiring. That's the best way to diffuse the situation.
Play on.
Markon's called to go. He'll poke it wide. The lead comes from Liam Hunt, and he marks in front of Lockie Street.
It's a really difficult position on the ground to attack from here because the Richmond numbers have just filtered across.
Hunt will have to kick into that congestion. Rodda will present. Great mark at the front by Mundy.
You've got to ask your forwards to do something special, like a mark like that. Nick Rodda getting involved now. This is a much more spirited...
And Nick Rodda's more than happy to accommodate any Richmond player who wants to come his way.
He's just going to grab 2 or 3, thinking if I've got...
Hugh Beasley here, trying to just maybe suck Rodda into reversing the kick.
The more players you can grab, the more free players will be for Williamstown somewhere.
The wisdom of Campbell Brown as Tom Mundy goes long and just across the face of goal. He hit that kick beautifully. Lauren Arnell, is Nick Rodda involved, and doesn't he love a bit of push and shove?
He's quite happy to play the antagonist. Walking out at quarter time to listen to that Williamstown huddle, we saw Noah Bolter getting stuck into them. It was also antagonised by Nick Rodda. He's loving that extra bit of grunt in this game.
Mundy puts the clinches on Ballard. Donnell finds a way out for Markon to Hunt. Steps through Coleman Jones, which is hard to do. Tippett fumbled, goes back to Mellington. Kicks through a set of hands. Kennedy waited for it. Street got a fist on it. The former Pie&D recovers. The Tigers are there at the source. Pickett turns contest into uncontested possession. Sends it forward. Bolter v Tippett. Tippett can't let Bolter free here. He's got the athleticism. taps it forward. Stack on the scene against Masters. Richmond want this in motion. That's what they'll get. Markov stripped. Another big stop to the Seagulls. They are hanging on by an absolute thread right now, Williamstown.
Jake Greiser has it. So Williamstown with more of the football in this second term. The Tigers still with more of the inside 50s. But at least they've dried up Richmond's supply. And they're using it a little better, Brownie, like that kick. A beauty from Greiser finds Hunt.
They're starting to hit some targets, aren't they? Which is really important. He's got Sam Donnell on this commentary side deciding to go skinny.
And Morris sticks to the job again just to put some pressure on Greiser. In the end, Jake able to hit Ebbinger. Working high up the ground today with Rodda playing deeper. Ebbinger towards half forward. Good presentation again from Mundy. Couldn't quite haul it in on this occasion. He's got Hibbert on the inside. Hibbert can give it to Myers. He's got to be quick. Great run down from behind. Myers goes goal! No! Kicked a beauty! For the second week in a row, Brownie, he's come up with something special.
Unbelievable. Maybe he's a forward after all, Jace. By accident. Defenders don't kick goals like that, and that was an absolutely magnificent finish from Billy Myers. 4 last week, and has he got this Williamstown side back into the contest now, and he's given them the bird and everything's happening. Williamstown back in the contest.
Might be a memo coming from HQ during the week as Hunt gets the clearance, just their 5th inside 50 of the quarter. Garthwaite goes the fist and it'll send its way over the line. So it's taken that miracle goal from Myers to keep them in the match, but Richmond 7 inside 50s into the breeze. Nothing to show for it goal-wise, 4 behinds for the term. And right now, 18 points. It's Richmond's 3 goals in 5 minutes in time on in the second quarter that separates these teams. Meese couldn't grab it and then was pushed out of it by Chol. Pickett's handball ricochets to Miller off the knees of Wheeler, and he turns tackler on Chol. Lauren Arnell, Jalen Thorpe, we know him more as a forward, but he's had to play in defence so far today.
We do, and Williamstown haven't looked as dangerous without him forward, and now with this momentum shift, we can finally see him playing in his natural position. Jalen Thorpe forward, you'd expect him to create something down there.
He's kicked 21-19 for the season as the boundary throw-in evades all comers. Collier-Dawkins spun the full clock face. Greiser to the outside for Hunt. Some time and space to chip. Ebbinger. Malesi-Smith was over the top. And now the door is sliding ajar for the Seagulls.
They need to take their opportunity, so shots like this need to be converted. When you allow the opposition to get off to such a flying start, you're forever chasing your tail. You can't afford to miss chances like this.
His local club, Williamstown CYMS, won the Premier C Grand Final in the Amateurs yesterday. 5 last week in the prelim. Ebbinger sends it across the face. The margin is 17.
Against this really good Richmond defence, you're not going to get too many better looks than that.
Garthwaite with a kick in as we hit time on in the second term. Goes long. Moore versus Singh. Well played, Nick Singh. Did well.
Play on.
Lots of congestion inside 50. Thorpe's the man to fly over the top. That's what he brings to that forward line. Creates chaos at ground level. Beasley. Now Menadue. Back to that Singh versus Moore battle again, and this time the Tiger wins it. It's a great one-on-one contest.
And that's what Jalen Thorpe can't do as a defender. Fly like that because he's always worried about his direct opponent.
Chol with the sit.
Block. Lee Masters. Block.
Free kick going to Willie.
No chance to get the football. Time on.
So Masters looks inboard. He's got Charleston in defensive 50. Goes to Greiser, who is one of their preferred kickers from the back half. That one a floater towards centre half forward. Awkward one for Street. Ricochets to Pickett. Draws Ebbinger towards him. Pops a handball over to Turner. Into the path of English. It'll sit. Dorgan tries to run him down. English fashions a kick towards Street. Coming the other way hard was Charleston. Did well. Forced a contest. Won the football. Got it to Monk on centre wing.
He did really well. Had to read that play really quickly. Come off his direct opponent and force a contest on the wing. Great work from Charleston.
So Monk has time and space for a bounce. Runs right into Pickett and turns it over in a horrible spot. Not much ahead of Dan Butler here, who can steady, have the basketball bounce, assess his options, try and bring it inboard. Naish lost his footing. Singh has to gather that ball, and in a hurry. Got it away from Collier-Dawkins. Big footy to win here. More paddles free of Monk to Weller. Grabs the greasy footy. English tossed it. Getting involved, Pongracic. Now Naish in time and space. Wants to link up with the 1-2. Menadue, they just run around him. Now give Naish an opportunity to look at his options. Carves that kick back inboard. Markov slides back. And another big stop.
Accommodative errors there from both sides, letting each other off the hook.
Dorgan on the half volley to Ebbinger. Did well. Had Pickett coming at him, so he used the support. It's Dorgan. Back to Wheeler. And just settle things down after a minute or so of crazy turnover football from both teams.
Richmond players' defensive work rate's just superb. They've all just folded back into certain positions.
Finding space in the second term that they couldn't in the first. As Greiser goes to Singh. Lovely delivery. Here is Thorpe. Could he be the man that changes the structure up forward for Willie? Sits it on the head of Ottavi. It spills to Pickess. Tries to spin through. Weller can't do so. English taken down by Ottavi. Mark on over the top. And already that forward line just looks a little bit more mobile and dangerous with Thorpe in the front half.
It does. He can play deep or he can hit up at the ball carrier like he did on that occasion.
Mason Bolter off hands to Collier-Dawkins. Read it nicely. Beautiful step from Naish. Flings it forward. Butler taken high, and that
guess who?
Mellington.
Guess who? Mellington.
One battle continues.
Getting a little bit of revenge back for the tummy tap. Once Mellington went high, he thought, I might as well just continue on with this because it's a free kick anyway.
More wisdom from the Book of Brown.
The Butler
put him in a chin lock.
Coleman Jones to the front, paddled inboard. The athletes combine. More to Bolter. He wants to take him on, and he's taken to the deck. More like a zebra than a tiger.
Lee Masters, your kick. Clear out. Let him go. Williamstown, play on.
Great tackle. Ball and all tackle there from Lee Masters.
Masters, the chip wide over the head of Hibberd. Now he's got work to do against fellow Tasmanian Weller. Couldn't get much on that kick. Big play here from Myers. He's going to have to wear contact from Townsend. It's like two bricks bashing into each other. Lauren Arnell, the temperature is up at Icon Park.
Well, we've seen Townsend, Mellington and Masters lay huge tackles in the last probably 90 seconds, guys. The intensity down here is absolutely lifted.
You see the big beaming smile on Campbell Brown's
Jacob
face.
Townsend's eyes just lit up like a Christmas
tree.
I was going to say like Christmas lights. Like
fair enough.
The lights on a Christmas tree.
No, fair enough.
That's why I stopped me.
Yeah, I was trying to help.
Considerate reverence established.
He was just sitting there. Billy Myers sitting duck.
Myers, Meese rather, and Chol. Meese reaches in over the top. Chol tries to do likewise. Wheelers tries to spin away from Weller. Ball on the bottom of that Packers. Nathan Templeton, things start to get a little gloomy.
Yeah, a bit of rain just starting, only spitting at the moment, but what it also has done is killed off a lot of that wind, so the breeze might not be as much of a factor in the second half, but as you can see from those clouds, might get a bit heavier, I reckon.
Margin still at 17 points. Wouldn't Williamstown dearly love to try and eat into that to reflect how much more even the contest is. Here's a chance. Hibberd. Pickess went looking for Kennedy, coming through the other way. Egmalesi, Smith, magnificently done. Naish sold into trouble. Pongracic tried to shut him down. Williamstown just trying to surge it forward. Streets handball over the top. Markon laid the bump. Opened the door for Kennedy. Here's a chance. Pongracic. Thorpe. He's going to run into trouble. Beasley comes back into Pongracic. He tries to bulldoze his way through. Morris on the bottom of that. Pongracic takes him down.
Oh, what a sensational passage of play from both clubs. Desperation. Williamstown finally looked like they got some overlap, but the pressure on the ball carrier from Richmond didn't allow them to get a possession. And we've got a stoppage here at the true centre-half forward position. Fantastic footy.
Rain intensifies. Weller's kick only as far as Greiser, who took it like it was a dry ball.
He should just get this in as quickly and as long as he can.
Well, there's plenty of Richmond talls working their way back to the destination of this Greiser kick. Beasley's amongst them, as is Chol. Desperately need a crummer here, the Seagulls. Morris, the desperate fist. Turner. Egmalesi Smith's got the dancing feet happening as the rain intensifies again. Now Tippett. They got Velcro on their hands all of a sudden here, the Seagulls. Tippett will send it back in, hoping, pleading for Rodda to make a contest here. He does. Kennedy at the full, bounces it to the goal square. Street can assess his options, send it back in the same direction. Myers got a couple to beat here, and his only option was to get a fist on it.
They're just so disciplined with their positioning, the Richmond defenders and mids, when they need to push back defensively. They know exactly where they need to be.
And one thing Williamstown don't have is traditional crumbing forwards. All their leading goal scorers this year have all been big, tall forwards or lead-out marking
types.
That's
why Benny Cavara's no longer there. He's a Schultz. Yeah, Lockie Schultz has gone over to Fremantle also.
Mellington and Butler come together again, this time the fend-off. Charleston pokes it to Singh, who's almost within range here at 50 with the breeze at his back.
He needs to be now.
So Nick Singh, vital kick. Williamstown have been so much better in the second term and haven't had a lot to show for it. He's only kicked one goal for the season, 13 in his 112 VFL games. Big kick in the grand final for Nick Singh. He'll kick from about 52 metres. On its way, starts left. Minor score. Half-time in the grand final. Williamstown hanging in. It's the Tigers by 16 points. They're 4-8-32. Williamstown 2-4-16. And half-time in the VFL grand final for 2019 was Richmond by 28 points at the first change. Dan Butler and Nick Mellington have had a running battle. It's been plenty physical, as you'd expect, with that hit from Jacob Townsend on Billy Myers, and then that's it from the reverse angle. Myers responded with a fantastic goal as the Seagulls try to work their way back. They kicked 2-4 to 4 behinds in the second term. The deficit closing from 28 points at quarter time to 16 at the half. Jack Dorgan leads the game with 14 possessions. Time for our Isuzu half-time analysis. Thanks to the Isuzu D-Max, you can go your own way with the D-Max. And the talking point, one of them in the first half, was this incident with Nick Mellington and Dan Butler. Dan Butler went in the book. Has he got anything to worry about?
Yeah, he did. Immediately reported. Umpire was right there. I don't think he has much to worry about, but mind you, my tribunal record isn't great, Jace.
Yeah, that concerns me. If you think he's getting off, he might be in more trouble than we think, to be honest. Let's take into the top 5 goals of season 2019, and we've had some absolute beauties. We'll kick it off with some clever ruck work at number 5. Bulldog Jordan Sweet pulled off a couple of these this year. The left foot roundhouse here at Icon Park, then the right foot over the head number down at Frankston. Sweet indeed from Jordan. To Canadian Park for number 4, Essendon speedster Dylan Lant got over the back of the Geelong defence, uses his speed to keep the ball alive, then he smarts to blow by Blake Schlensog for a clever goal. Dylan Lant, one to watch in 2020. Speaking of youngsters to watch, keep an eye on Mitch Padaski. How's that for a goal? Impossible. Not quite. Magical. Speaking of being deep in a pocket, how about this guy, Billy Myers? Last weekend, what a goal. Incredible skill under pressure, which brings us to our goal of the year as voted on by whoever cut this package back at the office. It's Port and Essendon at Northport. Shannon Lang sells a dummy, back onto his right. Lovely finish. 16 points the margin here at half-time list. He's a premiership player with the Seagulls, and this afternoon he'd like to become a premiership captain as well.
Hands to it, couldn't take the mark, and with the outside of the boot, it's Markov who goes and puts it through for a goal.
And what a moment that is for Adam Markov. His first goal in AFL footy, he loves it. Good on him.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time at the Richmond Footy Club. Obviously, I was only there for the 1 year on the AFL list. Really felt privileged to enjoy the opportunity to experience life as an elite footballer, I guess. So, I never take that for granted, and really enjoyed that experience.
Rodda at the back, coming through Markov with the crumb of the season.
I moved from Northern Blues to Williamstown in 2014 and really found that the club was super professional and just really full of good people. Once I came off the list at Richmond, I knew that Williamstown was home, so I was really happy to know that I had such a great club to come back to, and we've obviously loved my time there ever since. It's a real privilege to be the captain of such an old club. 1864, sometimes I have to pinch myself that I'm a captain of such an amazing club, so I just feel like one of the boys still, and trying to help some of the young guys develop their game, but more so just try and be a good role model around the club and help in any way that I can. So yeah, it means everything to be the captain of such an amazing club.
The Seagulls exercise their preliminary final demons. They're through to the 2019 VFL Grand Final, their first since 2015.
Yeah, I guess the preliminary finals in Williamstown haven't gone so well in the past, so I guess there was definitely a bit of a sense of relief when the siren went. But it's funny how quickly you move on once that final siren goes and you start preparing straight away for a grand final and an opportunity to win a premiership.
He runs around and snaps the goal. Markov needing a captain's finish and provides it.
Yeah, it would mean everything to lead this club to a premiership. I think I'd really have to pinch myself. I'm super privileged to be the captain, and to be the captain of a VFL premiership would be unbelievable.
Time here in the grand final, VFL season 2019. Richmond by 16 points. What's Willie got up their sleeve? Well, here's Lauren Arnell down in the rooms.
Well, we saw a real shift in momentum in that second quarter. Williamstown able to regain ball security. They're looking for a little bit more of that in this third quarter. And obviously Andy Collins here in the rooms just reminding his players it's a grand final, but it's also a game of footy. Important to just go back to basics, trust themselves and play the game that's in front of them.
Thanks, Liz. We've been through our top 5 goals of the year. Now it's time for our top 5 marks of season 2019. And we'll start with Mitch Podasky, that young Coburg talent. What a lovely grab in from the side. Super athletic grab from the side from the young line. And speaking of athletic, how about this from young Tiger Callum Coleman-Jones? A big fly over the pack at Frankston. Pack marks don't come much bigger and stronger than that. The bronze medal takes us all the way back to round 1. Tyler Brown just left of screen there. You see him sit off the pack. Get the sit, time it beautifully. Lovely high mark there from the young Magpie. Brings us to number 2. Near impossible to split our top 2. Marlion Pickett goes back with the flight. What courage and skill, as gutsy as you'll ever see. What a mark in the qualifying final. Took something pretty special to top it. Bomber Jordan Houlihan with this classic towering specky against the Blues at Windy Hill. He's the winner of our 7 VFL Mark of the Year. Half-time, there's Taylor Garner, North Melbourne player, enjoying the festivities here at Icon Park. It's the Tigers by 16 points as Williamstown come out for the second half in the 2019 VFL Grand Final. Getting set for the second half of the VFL Grand Final. Richmond by 16 points. They led by 28 at quarter time. Willie kicked 2-4 behinds with the breeze in the second term. Richmond have that breeze in the third quarter. There's Sydney Stack. 3 touches in the second term. Callum Coleman-Jones has been important. Can Williamstown make a move? Or can Richmond kick again? Second half of the 2019 VFL Grand Final. Here's Nigel Carmody.
Naish with the opening touch, and Ballard comes thundering in off the line, and almost some friendly fire on Weller. And that lays down a marker, and the scrap continues. The sparks flying again. Look at Ballard's commitment.
What a great contest. Markon coming the other way.
Pinballs into Hibberd.
That's a commitment that wins your premierships.
And exactly what the day's going to require. Markon taken to the turf. Weller over the top. He's gone.
Tried to evade the tackle, Adam.
Jalen Thorpe gone down back again in this third quarter. So Andy Collins has thrown the forward back into defence, playing on Marbier Shoal.
Look at Richmond just push numbers ahead of the ball here. Just 3 players behind Weller as he kicks this high to the tall timber. Masters and Stack. Chol from the back. Moore had an option there in Ballard, who's already got one. He's mown down by Pickess. Moore goes back through the legs of Street. Meese can't wrestle him to the turf. Coleman-Jones. Menadue, been hot in the final series. Snaps back. Singh, Hibberd. Hibberd, safe hands.
Having an enormous impact, Mitch Hibberd coming up for disposal. Number 15.
Leads the game from the defensive goal square. Goes towards Ebbinger. And he marks a defensive 50. Over the top, Ottavi couldn't complete the mark. Morris will hunt him at ground level and get it to the line. So between Ottavi and Rodda, they've had 4 touches and 1 mark in the first half.
They haven't had a whole lot of opportunity, and when they have got the ball in to them, quite often they've been battling against a numerical disadvantage. We've just seen Williamstown change their game style up a little bit in that second quarter, trying to maintain possession through marks, which is not something that they've done throughout the course of the year.
Mark onto Hibberd. Ebbinger created the contest, created the crumb for Kennedy, who gave it to Ottavi. Wheeler tries to step through a tackle. Markov punches a handball to Ottavi. He floats one over the top. Kennedy inboard. Hunt. The chain of handballs. Pickess had to be clean. He's under pressure now, and the moment's lost for Williamstown. The Tigers' pressure just kept on coming. And Williamstown almost weaved their way through the traffic.
Tigers without a goal since Jacob Townsend put them 28 points clear, 29 minutes into the first. Markov, free of Pickett, time and space to kick. Ebbinger, yes! Managed to get himself away from Caulfield.
He's only 183 centimetres, Nudge, but he plays taller than that. He's got a really good set of hands, and no one has kicked a goal to the right of screen. No one's really had a decent opportunity. And Nick Ebbinger has a huge chance here to start this third term.
There's the opening between the Pratt stand and the Carlton facility where there's a bit of breeze for him to navigate here. And in the end, just not enough for it to start left and work its way into the right. So margin to 15. Ebbinger with a couple of behinds.
With Malessi Smith to Beasley. Beasley goes looking for Ballard. It's a 2-on-2. Over the top came Dorgan, had to sit and wait. He's run down by Stack, who strips him of the football. And Ballard takes the advantage. Wheeler tries to run him down. Handball through the legs at nutmeg Coleman-Jones. Wheeler receives from Meese. Now to Hibbert. Has to throw it on the boot. They'll contest at the top of the square. They come from all sides. It spills towards Garthwaite. He paddled in the Morris direction. Dorgan will get there first. Morris works his way to the front. Gets it to Ballard. Ballard throws it on the boot. Gets a bit of distance down the line. Moore looks around to see Tippett on his shoulder. Here's Coleman-Jones. Flips it over the top to Stack. Takes it. Tries to get past Meese. Umpire says play on. Little drop kick from Townsend as he fumbled the football. And in the end, Donnell and English take it to the line. Lauren Arnell, Williamstown skipper Adam Markov trying to lift his team.
He certainly is, and he's getting in and under the 3 possessions already, and we can see again the intensity lifting down here, but super impressive from Williamstown skipper Adam Markov. He's really getting his hands dirty this quarter.
Thanks, Loz. 14 touches for Markov, shaded only by teammate Mitch Hibbert with 17, the game high. Now that's 18 from Mellington, who's been in harm's way all day. And is triangled by the Tigers, who marginally move it into their territory. Jacob Townsend on screen. Goal kicker. Mason Bolter. Hunt stripped. Tackle applied on Mellington. So a hush over the crowd as they try and make sense of what's coming here. Can Williamstown fight and find a goal against the flow towards the Royal Parade end? Free kick goals.
Hold.
Goes the way of Mellington, but you can see he's got nothing in the corridor. Once again, the options are back or down the line. He'll take the latter. Caulfield and Kennedy. Caulfield got hands to it. Wheeler finds Dorgan, who has to get boot to ball and can't. The pressure on top of the Seagulls again. And in fact, it somehow grazed the ankle and gone out of bounds on the full.
It's hit his non-kicking foot on the way through and out of bounds on the full, which means the Tigers can now spread. Malessi Smith to Garthwaite. Over to Street. Pickers to try and run him down. Garthwaite receives it back. He's still got Street there in support. And Naish. Mundy comes to Naish, who brings it inboard and finds Fraser Turner. Williamstown folding numbers back. Turner uncertain of his option, so in the end he'll just pop it up inside 50 and let Chol fly at it. Townsend stayed down, has got Monk to beat on the deck. Menadue couldn't control it. Taken by Donnell. Spears a kick, it was a good one, and finds Rodda. And that'll be 50. Which will take him within range.
Stay with me.
Into the breeze, it'll take a good kick.
Williamstown right back in this contest. They just need to capitalise here with a goal. We saw Ebbinger hit the post just before. Nick Rodda's a massive kick of the footy.
Ankle injury, has missed the first 2 finals. Back in this afternoon. He's kicked 30 goals, 17 for the season. 58-33 in his career. Into the breeze. Huge kick. 45 out. Got Brownie, Nick Rodda played 96 games for West Perth, including the 2015 grand final. Had a bit of a sore leg. Afterwards, they found out it was fractured. So he'll do anything to win a flag.
Absolutely. And they got him over as a full-back, Jace. Turned him into a forward. He played there before, but he's become a really integral part of the forward structure. Look at the passion. He knew how important that goal was. And another goal from a 50-metre penalty. That's 2 now for Williamstown.
He's grabbed it from the ruck. Mellington, backhander. Hibbert has to lay the tackle on Collier-Dawkins. Kept the hands free for Ballard to Townsend. Can the Tigers answer back? Coleman Jones, Donnell flying through. Charleston skittles a couple. Markov receives from Menadue. Spirals one high. Thorpe and Moore. And Thorpe just does well carefully to get a hand through, and hopefully that's just a readjustment of the boot for Sydney Stack and not a reoccurrence of that syndesmosis injury sustained late in the VFL season. Dorgan short for Monk. So this is as close as the Seagulls have been since early in time on in the opening term. Monk desperately looking for a way out.
And that's what you have to do against this Richmond defensive structure. Change angles just like that.
So pretty much all of Richmond's defenders are down the line for this Greiser kick, but he'll take it head on. Meese. They'd be happy with this out. Probably hear the Seagulls. Richmond want to keep it alive. Markov. Caulfield. At the back, Miller. Tosses it onto his boot. Coleman Jones will present. Thorpe the fist. Greiser a paddle. It worked to Coleman Jones. Monk down meanwhile for the Seagulls. Coleman Jones goes tackling on Tippett. Dorgan gets it forward. One call was touched, one call play on. Confusion reigns. Mellington chopped by Caulfield. Monk's recovered, he'll leave it for Thorpe.
Just feeling at his knee, and the ball was about to hit him on the head, so he sprung to his feet. Still looks a bit proppy there, Braden Monk.
Yeah, it's just his left knee after that marking contest, but he seems like he's moving okay.
Hopefully just a contact injury. As Thorpe goes to Mellington. And this is what they didn't do in the first term, Brownie. Just control the tempo of the football, kicking into the breeze. Don't panic into the zone.
Well, they couldn't get any composed possessions from marks in that first quarter. They were just under so much pressure. They were kicking the ball out. Now they're starting to control the tempo of the game by taking marks like that. That's a terrific grab.
How much has this bloke improved in 4 weeks?
Come on in leaps and bounds.
Last year we saw Lockie Schultz just jump out of the ground in the finals and get himself drafted. Nick Ebbinger is having a fantastic September. Goes towards Meese.
Again.
And even Big Meese takes a mark. That's only his 14th mark for the season.
Rare as hen's teeth, Jace.
His 30th mark in 2 years. He doesn't take too many.
They're starting to get this game on their terms.
Meese kicks it inside 50. There's Ebbinger again, and Rodda at the front. So all the way, big contested marks, Brownie.
They're the worst marking side in the competition. And on that occasion, they went the whole length of the far wing, taking contested mark after contested mark, which you simply don't do against this Richmond defence. So another great grab, and Nick Rodda can be the spark.
We've mentioned his scoring capability. Generally such a good finisher. This a tougher kick than the one he slotted 5 or 6 minutes ago from outside 50. Keeps it low into the breeze. Doesn't quite get it there. The idea was right. He tried to steer it and keep it low.
And no Williamstown forward on the goal line to simply engage the defender or shepherd it through. So a lapse in concentration could cost them a goal.
And they're going to try and transition this quickly here, the Tigers. Egmalesi-Smith to Ballard. You can see a flock of players working right to left to create something. Ballard comes back inboard for Beasley. You can just run at Williamstown here and take the most unconventional bounce you'll ever see. Not known for his kicking, Beasley. Pushes this forward. Thorpe, the fist gets to the back. They want the sanctuary of the line here. That Sharon wants to stay in. Weller, bundled over by Markon.
The readjustment that's been made by Andy Collins and the playing group from quarter time has been remarkable. Hugh Beasley.
You will not see that in any NAB AFL Auskick handbook, as much as you want to find it. Maybe in a Gaelic football one. Coleman Jones takes front spot. Meese, the tap.
Holding 8, Williamstown.
Let off Seagulls. Mellington, another free.
He's just been niggling these Richmond midfielders all afternoon. He sucked in Dan Butler, who's on report. And this will be his 3rd free kick from the stoppages, doing the exact same thing.
Considered the switch. Goes down the line. Here's Ebbinger again.
Wow. I keep having to check his height. He hasn't grown, but he's playing like a key position forward at the moment.
Sixth mark for the day from Nick Ebbinger. Goes towards Rodda. That was really good body work from Beasley.
There was a
steps inside Pickess. Handball. Miller. Collier-Dawkins and now Ballard. Markov in one direction, Bolter in the other. Look at the recovery from Noah Bolter. Goes for a bounce, runs to 52, heads towards the goal square. Stack lurking, too much carry on the kick. Minus score.
What an athlete Noah Bolter is. He just hits the ground running.
Could be quite an exciting player. If he puts all those pieces together, we see little glimpses from time to time. He could be anything. Noah Bolter as Greiser hits a long ball to the City side.
And they are marking everything all of a sudden, the Seagulls. Now it's Ottavi. Nick Ebbinger's had 4 contested marks from his 6, and now Ottavi getting his hands on it as well. Pongracic needs to be the man here. Got a fair knee in the back from Morris. Caulfield. Morris gets one behind the ear for his troubles. There's your square up.
They've only taken 13 marks for the quarter, Nigel. 8 of those have been contested. They're dominating the air.
It's putting them back in this match. It was 31-0, and it's been 24-3 since. Egmalesi Smith for Turner. Has some overlap, but puts it at the feet of Beasley. Mellington went for him. Pickess just flies off. The turning Collier-Dawkins needed the polish from Menadue, couldn't find him. Ottavi to Charleston. Seagulls out of harm's way, and maybe now with some overlap. But Ebbinger has only got Rodda in a virtual 1-on-2 down the line, so I'll take a breath here, the Seagulls.
So he's playing much higher this quarter than he did in the first quarter. As that high half forward, getting up the ground and giving the half backs an option.
So Sam Donnell's been a cool presence for them behind the ball. Chips for Kennedy, and they're being let off the leash here. The leg rope was tight all day, and suddenly there's some space in it for Williamstown and some easy uncontested ball as well. Kennedy. Now Egmalesi Smith will come in from the side here, get a fist on it. Mundy just grabs and then takes him on. But there's belief right now in Andy Collins' team. They've chewed into this margin and they've stopped Richmond scoring just 2 behinds in 15 minutes of play to the scoring end.
Free kick.
Pickett goes down.
Richmond!
And that's going to get a free kick as Pickett and Singh came together off the ball.
He threw him to ground. Umpire saw it straight away. It's a let-off for the Tigers. They just need to find an avenue to goal like they did in the first quarter.
Thought about the short give to Egmalesi Smith. Goes down the line. There's Coleman Jones. We've spoken about his aerial ability.
Move it on. Play on.
Delivers inside 50, more almost. Townsend at ground level, great tackle from Myers, took him down. Tiger fans want a free kick for in the back. And Lauren Arnell, if you're Craig McRae right now, what are the Tigers doing to try and wrench back momentum?
Well, I think what worked for them in that first quarter, they just dominated possession and were able to just take the footy away from Williamstown whenever they won it. So what Williamstown's done well is take the time with the footy. They've been a lot more patient and chain the ball up the ground. So I guess Richmond just going back to that aggression defensively.
Masters to Charleston, floats a kick, Rodda marks. And that's the connection you're talking about, Brownie. They're able to retain possession in the middle of the ground and can then push forward and attack. Ottavi, the next marking option in line. Pickess will do well to get it to the line, and they can set up again. But this time they're setting up on their half-forward line instead of the half-back line as they were in the first half.
Yeah, they also understand as well that they're kicking into the wind, so every minute they take off the clock is a massive advantage. Rodda looked into the middle where there was a Williamstown player on, but it would have been a dangerous kick. You don't need to pull the trigger on that, which they were trying to force in the first term.
Meese wins it out of the ruck, gets it to Markon, can go short to again a marking target. This time it's Pongracic.
They're lowering their eyes as well, going inside the forward 50.
So Jason Pongracic indicates to the umpire he's going to attack the goals.
No chance of getting the distance, you wouldn't think, but he can take some time off the clock. They can set up structurally, defensively, so it's smart play by the former Frankston skipper.
And he goes short, finds Willie Wheeler tight in the pocket.
They've got so many recycled players. They've all come from different clubs. I thought I might have seen Andy Collins at the climate change protesters. That many. He's the best recycler in the country, Jace.
I was wondering where that was going. I was thinking maybe youth, but he went recycling. Here's Willie Wheeler. Really tough kick from here because the Breeze will take it away from the goal face. Makes good contact, but the Breeze does work it across to the front. They go hunting. Fortunately for the Tigers, Paddy Naish there as Markov was about to pounce. There's Andy Collins. He's been a winner everywhere he's gone. He's looking for a hat-trick of VFL premierships this afternoon.
Can they scrap one here? Can they create one? Plenty of players trying to create space. Chol hit it straight to Ebbing. Oh, misses right.
Oh, he's having some sort of quarter. He's just putting himself in the right spots. And he'd be disappointed he didn't finish that on the right side for him.
Ben Miller was in the best in the match between these sides back in round 5. Into the man on the mark, right in front of the Seagulls fans. Look at that sea of blue and gold. And Miller, they're in his grill. Ottavi letting him know all about it.
They shot away with 2 there.
Didn't get away with that one.
No, he didn't. The first one, he put Pickess on the ground, and the second one, he's been pinged. Got inside his head.
So free kick against Miller. Ottavi will take it.
They've niggled them since quarter time. It started on the quarter time siren, Jace. Been a real focus of Williamstown.
21-11 for the season. Played in the East Point Premiership in the Ballarat Football League last year. First year as a Seagull. Just misses. Margin at 9 as we get towards time on.
So really, for all their dominance this quarter, have only kicked 1 goal, 4. Will these missed opportunities come back to haunt them? Charleston tracks it on centre wing. Hunt into the path of Tippett, takes it to the line. Nathan Templeton, things pretty spicy in the grand final.
Yeah, this niggle is very tactical and very much directed at certain players. Patrick Naish is getting hassled a lot off the ball. Tom Mundy in particular trying to rough him up. So it's a definite plan by Willie to upset the Tigers.
Chol. Hibbert slaps it only as far as Pickett. Good tackle from Mellington. Chol under pressure from Hunt, keeps it alive, gains some distance. It's still there. He's gained 20 metres and eventually Stacks takes it to the line, and Loz, Williamstown with all the play, but haven't been able to convert.
Well, we do know throughout this final series in particular, Richmond are going to come home strong in the last quarter. So with the opportunities and the missed opportunities that Williamstown have had, they're going to have to capitalise going into 3/4 time.
Meese and Chol neutralised. Weller and Meese collapses over the top. That ruck battle we were so focused on at the start of the day. Nick Meese, 32 of Williamstown's 33 hit-outs. The Tigers with just 11. The clearance is 28-15, but you don't feel like there's been anything from the second possession for the Seagulls to do much damage. Weller wins a clearance here. English, Turner, inside 50. Skewiff bounce. Mundy went into traffic. Hibbard comes out of it. Masters, Donnell, suddenly some overlap for the Seagulls, and they're making the Tigers chase. Charleston has to put the brakes on. Gives it to Hibbert, who comes at Naish, and he just strips him. Lowers the eyes, has street forward. It bounces on its point, keeps it alive for Stack. He goes underground, stopped by Thorpe, who kicks it off the side of his boot. It went 1.5 metres and somehow didn't go out on the full. But the pressure of the grand final again finds another level to go to. And how's this piece of play from Naish?
Brilliant.
One-on-one strip there from Naish, nearly set up a goal, and he's just having one of those days, Jalen Thorpe.
So can the Tigers land a counter-punch? Pickett tried to spin through Wheeler, coughed it up. Here's Kennedy. He goes short. Rodda worked off Beasley, who runs hard into Kennedy and receives a free kick.
Let him up. Let him up. Watch it.
Hugh Beasley rattled by that one. Bang!
Follow-up work from Ben Kennedy was massive.
Long ball inside 50, pushing and shoving under the football. Well done, Tippett. This grand final just steadily building towards a big final term. We're in a time on third quarter. But gee, there's some important minutes to be played between now and then. A goal either way just changes the dynamics once again. Mundy, Mellington, Kennedy pokes it down the line. Morris over the top. Superbly done. Had the sit on Pickess and timed it beautifully.
Yeah, they're set up for the switch here. They've got Garthwaite
Egg-Malesi-Smith to Collier-Dawkins. He looks around, sees Rodda, knows he can take him for speed. Draws a man, gives a handball. Caulfield's one missed Pickett. He gets away from Charleston, straightens up. Marlion Pickett doesn't quite hit the right side of the football. Opportunity goes begging for the Tigers. Marlion Pickett's afternoon, Brownie. What have you made of it? 13 touches at 54%.
He started off the game in the first quarter magnificently, kicked the first goal of the game, been a little bit more quiet as the game has gone on, as a lot of the Richmond players have, as Williamstown has just started to win the arm wrestle.
Is there a hand on that? There is. So a let off for the Seagulls. So Richmond is 6 minutes away from 2 quarters without a goal. They led this match by 31 points in the early stages of the second quarter. The Seagulls have kicked the last 3. And right now, this is about the best 1-goal quarter you'll ever see. Pickett paddles for Weller, who keeps it alive by hand. Trapped by Singh. Retreats for Thorpe. He's got options to the left. Elects to kick. Flights it. Kennedy in front. Excellent class. They've marked everything in this third quarter.
Another contested mark, and that's where the game has changed. And, I mean, you still look at the numbers. 47 inside 50s to 18. 18, Jace, yet the margin's only 8 points. It's phenomenal.
Kennedy, Rodda trapped behind. Bolter in front, Egg-Malesi-Smith. Beasley desperate for Weller. Off to Naish, starting to find a bit of vacant territory. Kicks deep. Thorpe can fly and will complete the grab.
And that's what he can do. He's one of the better marks in this Williamstown side. He's had an up and down day today. I dare say he'll be going forward in the last quarter.
Can Willie close within a kick, or can the Tigers get one back? Morris, what a mark!
Again! Anything Thorpe can do, he can do better.
What a grab from Steve Morris. Egg-Malesi-Smith got Garthwaite or Collier-Dawkins. He can almost get it and go. Can wind up, runs into Meese, steps around him, runs to 40. What a goal!
Steve Morris, the captain, usually inspiring with his bash and crash. Not on this occasion. It's with his high-flying ability, and this is the arrogance of youth. Look at Collier-Dawkins just brushed past Nick Meese, and the finish was magnificent. Much-needed goal. Their first goal in nearly 2 quarters extends the lead to 14 points.
Paul, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Warning, Williamstown. Warning, Williamstown.
Jack Charleston is the man who's going to have to come up to the wing, which sends Lee Masters from the wing forward. So they now get the required structure in place.
Yeah, I reckon that should just be an automatic free kick. We all know the rules well and truly by now. You can't have 7 defenders.
Ottavi into the ruck, provides it to Mellington, sends it forward, it ricochets to Wheeler, spins free, retains the Sherrin, can kick but is smothered by Garthwaite. Turner, clearing ball, will bounce on its point. Bolter v Myers. Myers can hustle it to the line. Riley Collier-Dawkins, what a moment. He'd kicked 2-9 prior to that for the season. Player the Tigers took at pick 20 in last year's NAB AFL draft. Played in a grand final here for the Oakley Chargers 366 days ago. That was a loss, trying to find a win. Townsend, torpedo forward, back behind it is Singh.
So the Tigers step up in the big moment. Their youngster Riley Collier-Dawkins to get it back out to 14 points. Singh to Monk. Late hit on him. Will bring it downfield. And that was a pretty smart punch away from the Tigers there to just buy some time and allow their defenders to flood back. Rodda has it on centre wing. He'll launch it deep inside 50.
Oh,
great grab, Hugh Beasley.
VFL Team of the Year fullback, and
off to Menadue, and suddenly the Tigers have got some spark. Menadue has 3-4 bounces, runs through the middle, cops one high from Mellington.
He'll almost be on report, Nick Mellington, back-to-back weeks. He got him high, threw the leg out as well in that instant.
No. That's okay.
Let's have another look.
Time back on.
Take that back. There was minimal contact.
Maybe a glancing blow across the chin or throat. Caulfield Steps inside Podgrazic, goes to 55, needs a target, and that's a good, strong defensive mark from Ottavi.
They're just throwing numbers back now at the 27, nearly 28-minute mark of this third term, and Andy Collins is content to go in with a 14-point deficit. He's just throwing plenty of Williamstown numbers behind the footy.
Seagulls will have the scoring end in the final term, and they'll have to come from 14 points down. What a fascinating grand final we have in 2019 as Mellington and Menadue come together in the middle of that huddle. And at three-quarter time, the Tigers lead by 14 points. Richmond 5-10-40. Williamstown 3-8-26.
The VFL Grand Final returns to Icon Park for the first time in 12 seasons. Richmond, the minor premier, facing Williamstown. Third on the ladder at the end of the home and away season. The Seagulls trying to add to the trophy cabinet, their last flag back in 2015. In the opening quarter, to the legend stand end, it was all Richmond. 24 inside 50s to 2. 3 goals in time on, including that finish to Jacob Ballard. They led by 28 points at the opening change. Williamstown were kept scoreless in the opening quarter, and then caught this. Dan Butler on report for a shot on Nick Mellington, and it took some special play from Billy Myers to get the Seagulls with a bit of wind in their sails back within 16 points at the half. To the third term, Nick Rodda, a 50-metre penalty, and then slots this goal at the 7-minute mark to bring it back to single figures. Steve Morris goes aerial, and then Riley Collier-Dawkins, with a couple of minutes to play, gives Richmond some breathing space. They lead by 14 points at three-quarter time, 5-10-40 to Williamstown 3-8-26 in what's been a low-scoring but a classic VFL Grand Final so far.
That's really smart football from Williamstown in that third quarter. They knew that while they needed to attack and potentially score, they've got the wind in this last quarter, which is going to be critical.
Williamstown have to come from behind. They trail by 14 points. Let's take you inside their huddle moments ago with their coach, Andy Collins.
I felt we didn't take territory. I feel like we've got to take a little bit more territory and put them under the pump. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a breeze. The ball's travelling a little bit of an extra metre. I think we've got to put some territory pressure on it. It doesn't mean that we've got to over-kick it, but we've just got to give it a little bit of height. All right? At the same time, you know, there's going to be a time that the stoppages will win. We don't want to just kick down the line. So we're either running the ball to the V or we're getting the restarts. Instead of just play to win. Yeah. 1 minute. Okay. Is everyone clear on what we're going to be doing?
From the Williamstown huddle to the Richmond huddle. Loz, you were there.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. A lot of belief in that group. Dan Caulfield, the most vocal, telling them all it's the best place you want to be. A couple of goals up at three-quarter time in a grand final. Craig McRae asking for his tools to be a bit stronger in the aerial contests, and then for his whole team just to defend the corridor. He wants to slow Williamstown down. We'll see Sydney Stack play forward.
Will it be the Tigers or the Seagulls? We've got half an hour of football to find out. The final term of the 2019 VFL Grand Final. Richmond start with a 14-point head start. Coleman Jones against Meese. Neither an effective tap. Weller will get the first touch of the final term towards half forward with courage. Going back was Charleston. He's down. Free kick Williamstown. Jack Charleston slow to get up. That was gutsy.
Oh, great courage. We see it week in, week out. Eyes only on the football. He's got up a little bit dazed, but he'll be fine. And Thorpe's gone forward.
Sydney Stack is sore as well. Kennedy dropped a mark he could have taken.
Felt the pressure then, Kennedy.
Street just spirals it towards the middle. Charleston's coming off. Stack's coming off limping as well. Markon towards half forward. Just a blind kick. And there's Sydney Stack as Steve Morris takes the mark.
Massive let off Ben Kennedy. Uncontested mark. It would have been right on the 50. And he just felt for contact and dropped the mark.
Pickett towards half forward. Naish will come over the top. Mundy at the front. Spills to Markov versus Masters at the back. Here's another look at that massive clash in the opening 10 seconds of the final term.
Well, Sydney Stack's come off with an ankle and Jack Charleston's come off just a little bit dazed. So there was collateral damage everywhere.
May have been even head contact there between the two of them as Hunt gives it off to Mundy.
That's what it takes to win premiership. Someone's got to pay the price.
Bounce gets to the back. Rodda shoulder to shoulder with Beasley. Ebinger from 45 out. Doesn't get the angle right, but not a bad result for Willie. They'll take it. It'll be a throw in there. Sydney Stack. As you can see, the physio just suggesting it's lower left leg. What a contest to open the final term. It's been a game peppered with huge collisions. Now a chance for Willie. Can they strike the first blow in the final term?
Rodda with a little tug of the Coleman Jones jumper. Evades Kennedy. He dives onto it. Collier-Dawkins grabs him. It spits free, but it won't come out from Menadue. What a terribly hard day to be voting on the Norm Goss medal. Campbell Brown, you'd imagine the next 25 minutes or so.
1-2.
And the efforts, the moments will be telling. I'm going to decide that, as well as the Premiership Cup. Collier-Dawkins to Coleman Jones, the hyphens combine. Singing Townsend. Townsend almost got it with the one hand. Gathers. Greiser acrobatically over the top. It spits free for Singh. He'll chip inside 50. Wheeler in space.
Great composure. Singh, everyone thought he was just going to blast to the top of the square. He pulled his kick at the last minute to Willie Wheeler, who's just heart and soul Williamstown footballer, life member, best and fairest winner, premiership player. Can go back and have one of the biggest kicks of his football life.
His Uncle Terry, of course, led the club to its 1986 premiership to bring the margin back to 8 points. Loves it. Staring 18 players who are arguably on the AFL's best list in the face. How big are the hearts of this Williamstown team?
Unbelievable comeback. I said that they don't go away without a fight, and Willie Wheeler epitomises that. He's played every single game in 2019 after an injury-interrupted season last year. He knows what it takes to win premierships at VFL level.
Naish out of the ruck, thought about putting it on his boot, went by hand instead. Scholl intercepted it, gave it to Pickett. He'll have a bounce. He'll have a second bounce. He'll run to 50. Pulls the kick at the last moment. Spotted something out of the corner of his eye. It was Markov. Masters beat him to the football. Delivers to Hunt. Couldn't quite complete the mark. He goes one-on-one with Weller. It spills out. Street crashes through. Leaves it behind. Ebbing up.
Yeah, downfield.
Free kick Kennedy. He'll want to get it and go. Willie Wheeler's by himself inside the forward 50. Kennedy hasn't spotted it. He'll go towards half forward. Ebbinger's marked everything this afternoon.
That's his 5th contested mark in the second half. He took 4 in the third quarter alone. He has been huge. Hasn't quite hit the scoreboard the way he has in the previous 2 finals he's played, but he backs himself in from this distance.
3 behinds this afternoon for Nick Ebbinger. From 55. It'll drop in the goal square. Thorpe versus Chol. Well done, Marbior Chol. Nathan Templeton, an update on Sydney Stack. And what's the breeze doing?
It's been about the same all day. Sydney Stack, it does look like fairly good news for the Tigers. He's just getting up now, wanting to come back on the field. It's a lower right leg, but I think it's more of an impact injury rather than a rolled ankle, so it's just a pain management thing and he should be okay.
Nick Meese off for a spell. And Moore have 2 fistfuls of Billy Myers jumpers. So Nick Meese off for a spell. English almost in the protected zone. Myers keeps it low. Superb kick, just too hot for Pickess. Egmalesi Smith held, no free kick. Pickett snaps. No, Pickess goals!
Oh, the kick from Myers was great. Pickess dropped the mark, but he followed up his own work and off one step puts it straight through. Margin 1 point. Josh Pickess, he moved to Williamstown for these opportunities after a few seasons at Frankston.
Richmond led by 31 points early in the second term.
Every single moment absolutely critical. Every contest on both sides. Richmond just need to find a way to answer.
Mellington out of the middle. Dorgan. Ebbinger.
He's running him a merry dance in this second half. The defenders just can't go with him on the ground and in the air.
Spears it inside 50. Egmalesi Smith and Coleman Jones. Rodda arrived a step late. And the Tiger fans with the Bronx cheer for the umpire. Egmalesi Smith to Street. Now Weller. It's wide and not so handsome.
Their forward structure has just fallen away. It started to fall away in the third quarter, even though they had the wind, and now they're right up against it. This will take a Herculean effort for Richmond to hold on here.
Danell. Coleman Jones again. It's been a feature of this game today. Contested marking from both teams has been fantastic to watch. And there tends to be more of it in VFL than AFL these days. One of the reasons we love this competition.
Butler in the report book can't hustle that ball free, and all the Tigers collapse and go to ground, and suddenly they're the ones with the slower leg.
Sam Donnell just jumped on the footy, but it was almost a professional free kick because he didn't want to allow Richmond to get out the back. So he was happy to be pinged there for holding the footy because it's going to be a slow ball.
This will be just Richmond's second inside 50 of the quarter. Willie have had 6 for 2 goals, 1. Masters comes free, taking on the tackle but not getting his way free. Ballard. What a monumental effort this is. Jack Charleston, Nick Rodda, both on the bench waiting to check back into the game.
So Charleston hasn't reappeared since coming off from that hit.
English can't gather. Pressure from Markov.
But Stack's on.
Shaken off the contact and perhaps reoccurrence of that syndesmosis injury. 34 days post-surgery for Sydney Stack. Coleman, Jones, Meese back into the ruck. Markov will just take the tackle and get to ground. So now the challenge for Willie is, with all this momentum, can they actually push themselves in front? A Richmond goal here just suddenly stops them in their tracks, buys Richmond some time and some belief. Coleman, Jones the tap. Stack was on the fly. Dorgan gets it free. Coming the other way is Morris. What a presence he is. Not the 15. Pickett. Butler the no-look. Townsend darts forward and kicks it.
Steve Morris just bodylining that football. Great team goal. Little bit of magic. Handball over the top. Great vision from Butler, and Townsend runs in and kicks his second.
What a team lifter. One of the great team goals you will see. And the Tigers are back out by 7 points. The challenge now at Williamstown's feet. The Tigers will get a surge. Here's Pickett, draws a man. Collier-Dawkins, can he hammer them twice in a minute? Goes for it! Oh, yes! And the VFL Grand Final takes another twist.
They're such a resilient group, this Richmond side this year. They've just soaked up everything that's been thrown at them. And Collier-Dawkins again on the run through the middle of the ground. Fantastic finish. He's also got 2 now. Richmond with a big double blow late.
To go with 14 possessions and 5 inside 50s right on his seasonal numbers. Troll tried to take it from the ruck. Somehow got it forward to English, and there's belief once again for the Tigers. Turner tumbles it wide for Moore, who'll slap it forward. It's the Richmond way. Donnell now wanting the line. Townsend, desperate low down. Works his way through Dorgan and Campbell-Brown. Williamstown, they were pressing their nose against the glass, and now they've been yanked back the other way.
And it's been a credit to Richmond all year. For a couple of years now, they continually win close games. They were down by 40 points at three-quarter time in the qualifying final against Essendon. They continue to believe in themselves in the process.
And for all that's happened today, that's the piece of play that's going to be trending on social media as Marlion kicks it into a cluster of Williamstown fans underneath the Pratt stand.
Well, that's called unorthodox ruck work.
How did he expect to keep that in? That's magnificent. At least he followed through with it.
He's blasted it into the crowd. And here's Pickett again, just giving them a lift as he did in the qualifying final. He was outstanding in the final term. He's carving the game up again. Ballard's handball over the top. English, here's Stack, here's Moore. Looks for a target, hoisted high. They'll contest 25 from goal. Up goes Masters, couldn't complete the mark. Markov at ground level. Stack tries to find his way through. Masters tackled by Markov, taken by Mundy. Quick hands Donnell. It pops out towards Tippett. He leaves it behind. And Miller takes it to the line. So Lauren Arnell, the psychology of this game is completely swung around in the last 5 minutes.
Change sitting in front of a group of Richmond supporters here. It's pretty noisy. Nick Meese has had 39 hit-outs, the dominant ruckman today, but Marlion winning the last 2 centre-bounce clearances has been crucial.
Meese can wrestle his way to the front. It landed in his hands. Monk desperate to Mellington, assesses the options, attacks the corridor, over the head of Pongracic, there for support. Beasley has an option by hand. There's a free kick about 50 metres back. Mellington dealt with. He has been the bullseye of all the trouble so far today. So free kick goals. Dawkins got a sizable left boot on him. Thorpe sets himself. Garthwaite, Ottavi. The Seagulls are still alive.
There it is, massive ramifications. Mellington again. Marlion just puts him down. You don't see it there, the top of the screen. He comes over, knocks Mellington over. The free kick is paid. He goes straight up the other end. Williamstown respond and kick the goal. Marlion gets dragged to the bench, not happy. And all of a sudden they've let Williamstown back in with a bit of ill discipline.
7 points halfway through the last quarter. Meese got the tap. But the Tigers are winning the clearances out of the middle in the final term. Weller's bouncing ball towards Stack. Tries to paddle it on towards Miller. Singh gets a piece of him.
Class rises to the top in tight situations. Pickett's last quarter has been superb.
As it was in the qualifying final. He's just got another gear. Meese nicely down to Hunt. Beasley will get across. That's a very good mark. Cut across the Ebbinger lead. Gives it off to Caulfield. Kicks off a step. Ballard. Nice little half volley. He's got time for a slip. He's got runners to the outside. Works the kick towards half forward. Miller almost couldn't quite complete it. Menadue lurking at ground level. Seagulls have got numbers. Hunt forced towards the line. It was a low percentage option. And out on the full. So Bolter has the free kick. 7-point game as we head towards the 16-minute mark of the final term. Meese, Coleman-Jones almost. At the back, Moore tried to sock it off the ground. Feeds it out. Here's the dangerous Butler. Gets onto his left boot. Puts it out into the path of Markov.
The kick was perfect out into space. Markov had the leg speed. Nothing Masters could do there to bring that ball to ground. He hasn't been afforded too much time and space this afternoon around goals. Dan Butler, that's why, because he can hurt you.
Quiet day for Oleg Markov, just his 6th touch coming up. Spent most of his career as a half-back at Richmond. This year they've turned him into a forward. Is this the moment that move pays off? A steadier for the Tigers. Markov from right on 50. Hits it beautifully.
Markov so quiet last week as well, went into the last quarter with only 3 touches, kicked 2 massive goals in the preliminary final to get them through today, and he's the finisher. Again quiet, but in the big moments he steps up.
And the first time today the game's been played in these still benign conditions. We had 8 goals collectively to three-quarter time, 3 goals apiece as Richmond and Williamstown trade blows in the final quarter of the season. Collier-Dawkins collapses on Mellington. Derek Egmilesi-Smith being spoken to by Alex Rance. Such a presence around this VFL side through its finals campaign.
Mellington, Williamstown.
Another one.
Mellington, Williamstown.
That's his 5th free kick for around the stoppages.
Mellington, no, it's okay.
He's pestered them all day, and Richmond have continued to retaliate.
Can run. Chol won't go at him. Kicks forward. Thorpe can launch. Got hands to it. Need a crummer here. Pongracic, Kennedy, Pickett, Collier-Dawkins, Pongracic over the top. Here's a tackling machine.
They need to answer, and they need to answer quickly here. Williamstown start to take some risks that they probably haven't done all afternoon. Nick Meese just needs to slap this into some space.
Mitch Hibbert sprinting to this contest after a spell on the bench. Meese has clear running to tap forward. It won't work its way to Dorgan. Weller, now it's to Dorgan. From Pongracic on the left, misses right. 2 straight kicks. We're a minute 15 from time on.
Just got goal side of his direct opponent then. Dorgan very nearly made them pay.
Bolter with the kick in.
Play on.
Called to go. Launches it long. Moore versus Singh. Myers will come across and make a contest at ground level. Slapped away from Collier-Dawkins. Pickers couldn't take it cleanly. Richmond led Port Melbourne by 13 points entering time on in the grand final 2 years ago. The Borough found a way. Can the Tigers...
Bringing up old demons, Chase.
Can the Tigers go on with it from here? They've had a fantastic 3-year period. Been the best team in the competition across that time. They've won 37 of their last 46. But This is the last piece of the puzzle that's so far eluded them. There's Craig McRae. What a super job he's done. To his left, Jake Arts, which is sorry, to his right, our left. Suspended for this game.
Craig McRae, coach, VFL Coach of the Year. He's done a brilliant job with this program.
They're not quite done yet. The Seagulls. Hunt receives from Meese. Deep towards the square. Bolter just slaps it forward. And it's an 11-point game as we hit time on in the final term.
Plenty of time left for Williamstown.
Sydney Stacks check back in for the Tigers. Bolter, there's a little push on Ballard. It works its way to the front. Hibberd just checks his kick. Pongracic, Rodda at the back. It works to Pongracic, but he couldn't get boots of ball. Thorpe lurking. Tossed out by Garthwaite. Dorgan inboard, wanted Wheeler. Could only find Menadue. Works its way to Caulfield. Out to Butler. Gathers. Chips wide. Will that find the line before Kennedy's on it? It won't. First of all, it's Miller, who's met solidly by Kennedy.
He's thrown his weight around today, Kennedy. Really important little hand in that contest from Caulfield inside the defensive 50 as well. Just a small thing. You don't get a possession for it, but prevented Williamstown having a shot.
Chol to the front. Markov ducked the tackle and then got taken by Pickett. Spills out to Hibberd. His kick was under pressure. Wheeler versus Egmalesi Smith. Nathan Templeton, a quick one on Sydney Stack.
Yeah, look, I've been following him very closely. There's no doubt he is in quite a lot of pain with that lower right leg, but he's doing everything he can to play it down. No doubt he's concentrating on today, but you'd have to think a little part of his mind is on next week and not showing any pain because he wants to be up for selection for the seniors.
Chol got it out of the ruck, got it to Coleman Jones. Short, finds English, and the Tigers now happy to play a bit of tempo footy, Brenny.
Yeah, they've got the lead. They've got possession of the football. And it's up to Williamstown now. They've just got to work really hard defensively to get a man. No point just folding back and protecting space when they can chip the ball around and take valuable seconds off the clock.
Melessi Smith goes for distance. It's going to drop short. And again, the big hands of Coleman Jones. He's been fantastic this afternoon. 14th touch for the big man. Goes short. And again, this is well worked from Richmond. English has got to go. It was touched. It was a lunging effort inside 50 more. Spent it before he got it. Townsend, good tackle. Holds it up at the right end for the Tigers.
Great tackle from Townsend, as we've come to expect. Just locks that ball inside the forward 50 for Richmond.
Good, smart, professional last minute or so from the Tigers. Have taken time off the clock.
Just want to keep this from Abid Chol just nice and close.
Williamstown need possession. They've got to get this back.
Ballard couldn't hustle his way through, but Pickett bounces off Hibberd.
Secondary stoppages are like gold here for the Tigers. They'll be happy just to lock this in.
Marlon Pickett kicked the opener this afternoon. He might kick the closer. Chol goes out of the air again. Masters, Hibberd under pressure. Dribbling ball for Dorgan. Menadue keeps it alive. Chol can gather, but backheels it over the line. But these are precious seconds ticking against the Seagulls and in favour of Richmond. If you're just joining us, Camden McIntosh and Jack Ross were pulled from the squad as cover for Richmond's injuries in Friday night's prelim final and perhaps as a precursor to the AFL decider next Saturday. So free kick Seagulls, it'll go to Jake Greiser. They need to move it.
And the ball's in the right hands because he's probably the best kick in the team. He goes to Monk right up the middle. He's got to get it and go. Good chase from Butler. Put some pressure on. Force the release. Rodda and Thorpe have got to go against three. At ground level, Wheeler comes busting through. Chance for Charleston. Couldn't take it cleanly. And the Tigers dodge another bullet. Gee, their scrambling defence has been fantastic in the last 5 minutes. Street over the top. Bolter. Now Stack. They just need a mark to hang on to the football. Morris. Weller. Seagulls had to come up at him to force him to kick. Chol over the top, and they'll take that. Again, great scrambling defence.
And Nick Meese here just needs to tap this over the back. Allow some Williamstown players just to roll the dice here. They need a goal. You just run forward to the footy. You've got nothing to lose here.
Meese has battled manfully. 44 hit-outs. Off the ground go the Tigers. Pickett into space, taps the accelerator, needs the class to go with it. Donnell and Townsend. Townsend almost free kick.
It was a very stagnant looking Williamstown stoppage before. They just got to run late in the game. They'll be tired. They've got to screw up their energy and find an outlet here. Take the game on straight up the middle, Sam Donnell.
Free kicks 25-20 Seagulls after it was 9-3 Richmond early on. Charleston back into the action after that heavy knock in the opening seconds of this final quarter. But they've just got to get on their bike here, Williamstown.
Big ball this.
Morris, the fist in and to the advantage of Street. Comes backwards for Egmalesi Smith, who can gather. His kick is ineffective, but off the side of the boot. Hibbert and Collier-Dawkins neither trap it. Works its way to Collier-Dawkins. The ball's followed him in this second half. Menadue, Ballard, English, Butler now in space. Creative and speed to match. Into the pocket, tumbles it forward. Mundy, well done back in space.
Got to go. And he does to Pickess. Have Williamstown got the run in their legs? Pickett certainly does. Steps around a man, 2 bounces, he's run himself into trouble and he's gone.
Oh, what an effort.
That might be the moment. Josh Pickett doing the right thing, taking the game on. But the Tigers ran him down and Steve Morris says to Noah Bolter, just take your time. Garthwaite, peel off. Become a short option. And that's smart. To Townsend, who's got another short option down the line. Garthwaite will push back, no doubt, and become one as well. Needs an option to come to him. And more obliges. Professional from the Tigers.
Yeah, really good time management. They've got spare players. This is the effort. Pickess tucks the ball under his arm. Noah Bolter, the wrong man to try and take on. He's quick. He's athletic. And he was hungry.
More. A chance to put it out of reach for Williamstown. It spills to the front. Ebbinger off the deck. Mundy. Great tackle, Butler. Ebbinger still goes just outside the reach of Singh. And the Tigers can lock it in once again.
They got seriously challenged at the 15-minute mark of this last quarter. The margin was 1 point. All the momentum was with Williamstown. They had a slight wind advantage. And I said it was going to take a Herculean effort. They managed to conjure a couple of goals out of nowhere, and looks like this will be a famous victory for the Tigers.
Monk, Kennedy, they're rushing it forward here, the Seagulls, but not much in their half. They chain it by hand. Now it's Monk forced to pull the trigger. Thorpe with a couple to beat. Who's got the recovery? Garthwaite back there defending manfully, paddling. Thorpe trying to desperately keep it alive, can do so. It's meandering its way to the line, and Richmond will be happy with the ball up. Williamstown get the territory. They simply need to kick a goal from this piece of play right here, right now. Margin at 11 points, but Richmond with 3 of the last 4 goals.
Sending plenty of numbers around this stoppage, the Tigers.
Coleman Jones into the ruck. Meese looking for the corridor. Wheeler trying to hustle his way through. Keeps it alive. Kennedy kicks and goals! 5 points is the margin. 28 minutes is the clock. And we've said all month there's something about VFL Grand Finals in Princes Park, and this one is top shelf.
And they just wheeled that ball forward. Willie Wheeler, almost rugby style, got the ball out to Kennedy, who's had a quiet afternoon. He wheeled around onto the left and finished beautifully. And all of a sudden, this centre clearance becomes absolutely critical.
And this is why we like the count-up clock in the 7 VFL coverage. Is it 5 seconds left? Is it 5 minutes?
We don't know. And I'm a terrible judge.
And neither do they. A 5-point game.
One day I said there's still plenty of time left as the siren sounded.
Correct, you didn't even get the sentence out. Williamstown, kick again. What a centre clearance. It's Meese. It's Chol. Grand final on the line. Seagulls won't go away. Chol flies out of the ruck. Gets it to Pickett. He spins through a tackle. Beautifully worked, Tigers. And a throw.
Yeah, they were lucky to get away with the first one on Marbia Chol, not the second one. They've just got to go, Williamstown.
Greiser, inside 50. Seagulls, can Rodda get to it? Spills to the deck. They've got some crummers. Hibbard's there. Tigers there. Dive on top of the football. It spills out. Still alive. Quick hands. Charleston, 52 metres out. Floats a kick to the pocket. Thorpe sets himself. Up he goes. Couldn't bring it down. Spills to the front. Garthwaite takes territory. Launches it long. Mellington's going to get it and bring it back in. Just about every player on the ground is inside the forward 50. He goes the 1-2. Misses the option. Chance here for the Tigers to try and get to Dawkins. Mellington. Now Charleston. He's run down.
Push.
And pushed. It's a downfield kick. Wow. Williamstown will have a shot to hit the front in the grand final.
I need to see this again.
Straight back. 24. Thank you.
Willie Wheeler.
Mark is here.
Here's another look.
That's in the same motion. That should be a free kick where Charleston kicked the football.
Mark is here.
It hadn't even hit his boot yet.
Willie Wheeler. He's Williamstown royalty. Can he become an immortal? Hits the post.
Now they need some composure here, the Tigers. Emotions are running high. They get the ball into the hands of Egmalesi-Smith. They need to find a target. Well played.
Not 15. Egmalesi-Smith to Bolter. Short. That's 15 for Garthwaite.
You need to keep your head in these moments.
Tall timber down the line. Chol flies. Seagulls stay down. Hibbard. One last push maybe for the Seagulls. Rodda's got plenty to beat. Thorpe almost at the 4-point Grassic. Caulfield, the goalkeeper.
They've had a goalkeeper all afternoon. Usually it's Garthwaite, but they've had someone on the last line. Again, really good structure under fierce pressure.
Richmond have led all day.
Oh, what about some of the efforts from Jalen Thorpe in the last couple of minutes to try and take a mark?
Menadue, Collier-Dawkins has been colossal. Charleston off the canvas. Ball forward here. Wheeler again!
He's had a sighter.
Not. 1-1 in the final quarter, all from this same spot. Will he make it 2 out of 3?
Deja vu. He had a sighter. He hit the right-hand goal post. They won't get another opportunity better than this.
So in 2017, the Tigers had a shot to win it with Ben Lennon. Willie Wheeler, for the second time in 2 minutes, finds himself in this space. Williamstown have not led the grand final.
He
misses again. 1-2. Extraordinary drama.
They're holding on by the skin of their teeth here, the Tigers. Again, they get another opportunity. Ball in hand.
32 3/4 minutes. Bolter kicks for all he's worth. Long to the line. Like the Tigers of old. They're strong, they're bold, and they're VFL premiers. The great grand finals.
We have a great grand final every year. They always seem to be close. Willie Wheeler, he'll be absolutely devastated, but there's nothing that you can do now. He's been terrific his whole career for this footy club. He'll relive that moment time and time again. They were enormous, Williamstown, to come back from the adversity of the first quarter, but full credit to Richmond. They led from start to finish. They've been the best side in the competition all year. They've only lost 2 games, and this means so much to them.
Well done. Congratulations to Craig McRae. It's been a long journey. Williamstown with 2 late opportunities to steal it. And somehow the Tigers hang on in a classic.
Alex Rance, look at that. How good's that to see? He's won an AFL premiership. It means probably just as much to him this year to mentor and coach some of these Richmond younger players and help lead them to a premiership.
Well, Dan Caulfield's into his 4th year at Punt Road. He missed out on the preliminary final, was squeezed out of the team. He was a late in this afternoon, and now he's a VFL premiership player.
Oh, Dan, you are a late in today, playing in a grand final, and the goalkeeper when it really mattered.
Oh, I was a bit nervous waiting for Fly's call last night. Obviously, there's a bit that went on with the AFL side, so he sort of had an indication that I was in, but it was like 8 o'clock last night or something. He gave me a call. This is incredible. I can't believe it, seriously.
It was a nail-biting finish. That last piece of play there where you're involved in just marking it on the goal line, was that just instinctive or was that instruction?
So I was set up to be the +1. We'd rolled a winger back and I was set up to be the +1, so I couldn't impact the contest, so I just dropped back and lucky enough it fell in my arms.
And I watched you at 3/4 time, probably the most exuberant Tiger in that huddle. How important is it just to bring that level of energy when the game's on the line?
Just trying to get everyone back into their best game there, A1. We've got so much talent here, and when they're playing well, we're pretty hard to beat. So that was the goal.
Well, really special for you. Congratulations, Daniel.
Thank you.
Straight to you, Nate.
Well, Steve, you've been such a great side for 3 years here, and you finally got that flag to show for it. How good does that feel?
Oh, mate, it's unbelievable when you have a look out here, and there's so many guys that unfortunately didn't get a chance to be out here today that they worked their absolute backside off for us at the footy club, hopefully to help the AFL get the silverware next week as well. So it's bloody amazing.
And what a tough game. I mean, they've got the win in the last quarter. They get to within a point. You must be thinking they are coming over the top. So how proud of you are you as the skipper that you hung on?
Oh, really bloody proud, mate. I'm speechless. I swear that ball was going straight through the middle and it shaved the post twice in a row. So, mate, I'm absolutely stoked.
Wrap for you, mate. You've earned it. Well done, Steve.
Appreciate it.
The premiership, Steve Morris has chased his entire career. Loz.
Oh, it's pretty unbelievable down here, Mav. I've stolen you away from the celebrations. It must be an unreal feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I've played finals in 10 years and I'm just so proud of this group. It's just such a special place and, I'm just pumped.
We can see all the AFL boys around you now. What does make this so special for you being at Richmond? 123 AFL games, an incredible career, but what makes it so special here?
Oh, this is all genuine. We just love each other. We care for each other. Our connections just is what we talk about all the time, and we just live in the moment and it's just awesome.
Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations, Matt.
I will.
Time now for our post-game formalities and our master of ceremonies, Nigel Carmody.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the more extraordinary VFL grand finals we've seen. How about a round of applause for 2 unbelievable performances from the Richmond and Williamstown football clubs this afternoon. As we ask the teams to make their way over to the official presentation area, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome forward Martin Rodda on behalf of today's 3 field umpires to accept a gift and medals on behalf of the VFL. Martin. As we ask the Williamstown Football Club to just make their way over to the presentation area. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, how about a round of applause for both the Richmond and Williamstown Football Clubs for one of the best VFL grand finals we've ever seen. And as the Seagulls make their way over, could I please ask their captain, Adam Markov, to come forward to speak on behalf of his club. Adam.
Just firstly to the Richmond boys, Richmond Footy Club, we've got a heap of respect for you. Craig McRae, Steve Morris and your whole organisation, well done. We fought it out, couldn't quite get over the line. To our supporters and fans over the back here, thanks so much for coming out. You're true supporters, you're coming back to every week. Well done to our boys, our coaches, our members. Couldn't be prouder, just couldn't quite get over the line, but so proud. Well done, thank you.
Thanks to Adam and the Williamstown Football Club, and another gallant effort in the club's 28th grand final. Since 1983, the Norm Goss medal has been awarded to the player adjudged best on the ground in the VFL grand final. I'd like to welcome forward Tristan Salter, AFL Head of Talent Pathways and State League Competitions, to present the Norm Goss medal, and the unanimous winner from Richmond, Marlion Pickett.
Good challenge to you boys. And Richmond, we got it, boy!
Thanks, Marlon, and thanks also to Tristan Salter on behalf of the AFL. I'd like to now welcome forward Mark Freeman, representing competition title sponsor Hard Yakka Totally Workwear, and also Shane Freeman on behalf of the Victorian Responsible Gambling Foundation, to present medals to the 23 players from the Richmond Football Club and coach Craig McRae. We begin our presentation with player number 7, Dan Butler. Number 16, Mav Weller. Number 21, the 2017 Liston Trophy winner, Jacob Townsend. Number 26, Riley Collier-Dawkins. Number 28, Fraser Turner. Number 31, Oleg Markov. Number 32, Luke English. Number 36, Callum Moore. Number 37, Connor Menadue. Number 38, Noah Bolter. Number 40, Callum Coleman-Jones. Number 41, Mabior Chol. Number 42, Ryan Garthwaite. Number 43, Derek Egmalesi Smith. Number 44, Sydney Stack. Number 45, Patrick Naish. Number 46, Ben Miller. Number 50, the Norm Goss medalist, Marlion Pickett. Number 53, Hugh Beasley. Number 54, Jacob Ballard. Number 55, Lachlan Street. Number 78, Dan Caulfield. And in his 50th VFL game, now a Richmond Premiership captain, number 51, Steve Morris. Now a Premiership coach, Team of the Year coach in 2019, Craig McRae. I'll ask Steve Morris to come back to the stage and Craig McRae to say a few words on behalf of the victorious Tigers.
I'd just like to start by thanking our sponsor Goodyear and Tony. We really appreciate your ongoing support in the last couple of years, and we wouldn't be here without that. To Andy Collins and Adam Markon, you know, Adam, you'll always be a Richmond man in our heart, mate. But Collo, I've got an enormous amount of respect for what you've done for your program, but also offered me in my coaching journey. So congratulations on a terrific game, Williamstown. We really respect you highly, and we wish you the best the rest of the for ongoing years. So well done, Williamstown. To our group, I said right from day one, this is a special group. Not only the guys representing us today, but all the other guys that have done it throughout the year. We've had 50 players play at this level this year, 30 AFL, 20 VFL. A lot of hard work's gone into this, so we really think it's an outstanding effort to get this far. To now be a premiership team with everyone that's supported that is really, really special. So congratulations to all involved. Just to finish here, I think to our fans, we're really grateful you're coming out, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come for this week. So go Tigers.
Yeah, just reiterating what Fly said. Colo adds the outstanding leaders, and it was an amazing game of footy, and unfortunately for you guys, it went our way, but I'm sure you'll bounce back as you have for the last 10 years. So good luck next season. To our fans, to the boys, we've got so many boys that unfortunately didn't get to run out with us today, and they've offered so much to our program, and I know the AFL boys are really appreciative of that. Our club certainly wouldn't be where we are without you, so to the boys on the VFL list that didn't get to run out today, thanks to you guys. You're an absolute outstanding bunch of guys.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome forward a man who captained Richmond to both a senior and reserves premiership, and he was the captain of the reserves last time Richmond did the senior and reserve double. A warm welcome, please, to the stage to Tiger great Roger Dean to present the VFL Premiership Cup to coach Craig McRae and captain Steve Morris.
It's been a long journey. Richmond are the champions of Victorian football for the first time in 22 years.